Futures extending declines from yesterday. Once again this morning, we're back towards session lows here so far for both the Nasdaq and the S&P 500 ahead of big earnings to come. We are starting to get a little bit of economic data trickling in as well. We did get a month ago weekly jobless claims. We're back to October 18th. This is a week of October 18th. This was out early this morning, 232 versus 219 on the prior. 254 was the expected for that week. So this is going to start trickling in over the next few days and the coming days and weeks, I would imagine, as we continue along here, as the government gets back up and running. Lots to talk about this morning, obviously. Nvidia to come tomorrow. We'll touch on that coming up, of course. More headlines involving Google this morning, showing a little bit of relative strength here early on. We'll also touch on Tesla. There's a big outage right now, Cloudflare. Speaking of not Tesla specifically, but X. X is not working. I think a lot of people are panicking this morning as to what they should do, as far as the market is concerned anyways. But X is down. I mean, it's a bunch of stuff. Like you were saying, the Beehive is another
Beehive,
one down.
Truth Social. Donald Trump can't tweet right now, Brendo. Like, you know, he must be panicking.
What will we do?
No, but I didn't even know Cloudflare was this ubiquitous. I didn't know everybody had some sort of servers with them, because everything is sort of messing up. Some auxiliary websites, Joseph's trying to do upgrades and downgrades. He can't do it either. Yeah. So a lot to talk about this morning, Brendo. Let's start with Bitcoin dropping below 90,000 for the first time in months, and basically erasing all the gains this year, touching 89,000 almost to the dot, Brendo. 89,052. That's what I see on my servers there. Good news for Apple out in China, up huge year over year, up 25% in the month of October, just on new iPhone sales. And of course, we got Home Depot reporting earnings this morning as well, Brendo. Likewise with PDD, Pinduoduo, the owner of Temu.
Yeah, retailers under pressure here a little bit this morning. That's what Home Depot looks like right now. Just made a new low on the morning. Not a heck of a lot of volume behind this, but yeah, a bit of a mess there for HD. Others in that space also following to the downside. Yeah, Tesla is interesting today. Just hanging out here. A lot of things showing relative weakness, just hanging out here at that last line of defense late in the day yesterday. We had a huge move up, obviously, and then it came right back down. So a lot of different directions to go, a bit of a wait-see feeling going into the morning ahead of, obviously, Nvidia coming up after the close tomorrow, guys. Good morning.
Good morning. Everybody's realizing how much we rely on Cloudflare.
Yeah, how much we rely on other things.
It's like, it's crazy because, you know, like you said, X is down. A few things, I mean, I don't know, like a few other things seemed like they were affected by it, but now a little bit better. But I went to open up the free watch list, and because I don't want to look at my email, I like to pop it out. And then you're like, oh, performance and security by Cloudflare, so that's not opening. It takes a moment to go. However, we saw this with Amazon. Like when this happened similarly to Amazon AWS outage, it was kind of like a buying opportunity for Amazon. Now, the different market, because the market was going up in that moment, so you know it was a good buy of the dip. That might be a little bit different for these guys, but they're only down like 3%. Maybe that gets a bit of a sell-off. If it does, that could be a quick little short-term buying opportunity. As again, it's a reminder of how much they are needed. Still a day away from Nvidia earnings, and I said yesterday that we hadn't really tested that low in that Bitcoin support level. Now we have. We got underneath 90,000, which was an actual test of that big support. And there you go. We're pretty much right back at it. So the, I don't know, crypto move is. It was getting hot yesterday in the office for a little bit in the afternoon. Okay.
I saw the door was open there today.
So now it's cold.
Yes, yeah, sometimes that back door is open there.
The thing about this office is like with all the renovations going on, sometimes the back door is wide open. So we get the flies in, it gets cold. And then when you try to turn the heat up, it's never room temperature up in here. Never. And I'm not putting a toque on, Randy. That's not happening.
The toque on.
But I will enjoy the plum. The plum was good.
Yeah, the plums, I told you, yeah, the plums yesterday were really good. Yeah, so I think Brendan nailed it there, or Sharif, when they talked about Google having relative strength. So I think we'll look over there with Gemini 3.0 apparently dropping this coming weekend or soon enough, and getting great reviews on that. So I actually have one name written down so far. It's just Google right now, trying to get some longs. We'll wait to see if we get a pullback here in 285, 286 yesterday's closing prices. I mean, I don't want to sit here and be too negative about the market, but it has been obviously a down draft. And then you do get today Not good, man. Home Depot there misses on their EPS. They beat on sales, but then they guide lower. They give you $14.40 or so versus $14.99 on their forward EPS. So that's not good. And you see, like, look what's been happening right here to Home Depot. It's actually gotten really crushed. And you don't see this too much, too often, but you've now seen it twice this year where Home Depot's topped in around here, 430, and then had, pretty epic falls back in right here. So gonna look to see if we get a little bit lower. We talked about diversifying a little bit. I like some Home Depot down here in the retail space, but that's not great. And then, you're looking at a name like a Costco. And we talk, like, where's there to hide? I think you just got to hide in great companies, right? But these two companies are great, and if you've been hiding out here, sure, you don't have, the crazy losses maybe over the last couple weeks, but they're still, nicely down from their top. So to see Costco down from 1180 down to 900 here, potentially getting this back to where we were last summer, 2 summers ago, right? Like, not this past summer, but this is July of 24. So you're getting Costco at good discounts now as well. And then I know Walmart, I think it's fallen below 100, or is it? No, not even. No, Walmart's not. No, Walmart's actually think is a lot better than most of these companies holding up here, because Walmart's high is 109 or something. And you're only down, it's only like 5%, like not even. 109 to 103, like, so Walmart's the one that's the winner here. So that's what I was going to say, like, pick winning stocks. You don't have to necessarily pick names on the way down trying to catch knives. Rigetti, all these quantum plays, nuclear plays, names that actually make money in this environment will be good, because if we're not going to cut rates, this is what we're looking for high quality beta companies, like an Apple, right? Apple's not getting crushed as much, and they should be. I mean, if this B2C, business to consumer model, as you can see, not the greatest in some of these companies, but Apple continues to work out. And here's Apple right here. I think it's just 160 at 268. Yeah, so, holding out pretty good there. It's high as 278, something like that. Maybe we touch 280 there one day, but still trying to hold out above the 50 period. And then Tesla. And you have a name up on your screen too.
Well,
Tesla 405.
Like the IPO. Yeah, the IPO market. Well, Klarna reported.
In fact, it's not down 10%.
This morning. No, this is actually, I would say this is actually pretty solid for them, to be honest with you. Then they had a net loss, but they actually beat on revenues. Hey, not bad. They're close to $1 billion in revenues for the quarter. 900 million in revenue was a beat. That said, this has only gone down since its first day. But it's worth keeping an eye on. Like, it's exactly the kind of stock that if we did have like a bounce and rally day, like it put in an all-time low, right? It double bottomed the all-time low, and now you get a report that doesn't completely stink. And it'll be on side watch for me, because if we do get a recovery day, I think some names that have like some very clear room to go are going to be out there. So it's not necessarily like a top of the mind style trade. And I feel the same way. It's going to be weird to say, because like every single day, and really not any different, like I want to look to short Mara and possibly BMNR, but Bitcoin, if it gets above 91.5, which is about 52.25 on IBIT, if it gets above that and can hold that level, that's kind of a confirming, I can just show you on the Bitcoin chart. That's kind of confirming that you can hold the chop zone and break away. So like I have a support line drawn from the daily chart, right? So it's just this support line in here. If it can start closing on 15-minute candles above that, then there's a long to be had. Until then, until proven otherwise, I'm shorting back into that level and using BMNR and Mara to do it. But I think there's some opportunities that if you get a surprise bounce, like I'd rather not be caught off guard. I have a couple of things I want to look at in that kind of a play. Don't know how much this outage is going to affect things, but obviously if you're on X, like, no one can use X right now. I'm not sure what else is down. I know the president can't do anything on Truth Social, I suppose, but we'll see how that plays out. I think there still could be an opportunity in Flare, but not yet.
Yep. All right. Very exciting. We got the nice Toronto skyline in there behind us, so we're excited for that TV and that screen. You don't even see the whole screen. It extends even further the other way there. But yeah, we're getting ready to rock and roll. The desk behind us is getting ready. It's going to be just an awesome transformation there. But yeah, nice to see Klarna there. 25-cent loss versus 33-cent loss expected. So nice to see them come through, and that might be a Bitcoin play as well. Yep. A little bit there, just trying to feel like if retail can get back going there might be some more money piling into names like Klarna, Affirm, crypto. All right. Let's go back over to the desk. Brendan and Sharif. I'm not sure if we have Mitch coming today or not. I can't see the board anymore.
Question.
But, we're going to throw it back over to them and see what they're talking about.
We're just having a look at DJT, True Social, one of the many platforms not operating currently because of this Cloudflare outage. We're down here right now, kind of in free fall territory here. For Donald J. Trump Media and Technology Group, it's below $10 here in the pre-market. This is not a good looking chart for DJT here so far today.
No, I got 52-week low notifications last week, but I saw on my Instagram account, Compound, I guess, host Josh Brown posting that it was below $10. Not a good look, guys. I mean, you gotta say though, Truth Social is being used a lot more by President Trump, and obviously people go on Truth Social to see what he's using or what he's saying, Brendo. But that really hasn't translated a whole lot into new advertising dollars as we kind of were expecting.
Or users for that.
Or users, yeah. I'm personally not going on it at all unless it's something to do with what he's tweeting.
Yeah, it's one of those things I think that X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, has such a hold in that area. It's going to take a lot to get people off of that fundamentally.
And you've seen Blue Sky suffer. You've also seen Threads, which is Meta. Do you remember Thread? No market penetration.
Here is, let's talk a little macro here. Here's the Fed funds tool, still a coin flip essentially for December, leaning a little bit anyways towards the nothing going to happen, no change, versus a cut. So from that standpoint, really nothing has changed over the past couple of days here, even though, as I mentioned off the top, we are going to start getting a little bit of economic data trickling in here. There's a huge backlog they're going to have to work through as they get to it. That's the US dollar right now. We got above 100 going back to the middle of last week, I guess it was. On the DXY, we're back down to 99.5. I was having a look at some of the treasuries as well, back downside in a pretty big way here. Again, this is a daily chart, so we're leaking on the 10-year. The 30-year looking very much the same. Big red candle 2 days in a row here for yields.
Absolutely, and that U.S. dollar strength, Brendo, has kind of been inversely correlated to the strength in gold. Gold's been selling off as the U.S. dollar's been making gains. I think we tried to recover a little bit last week, moving into about 4,225. We're barely holding on to 4,000. In fact, Brendo, we did lose 4,000 momentarily overnight. So the inverse correlation between gold and the U.S. dollar, notable.
Yeah, from a higher standpoint, guys, interesting spot here for the overall market. I mean, kind of a wait and see, I think, for tomorrow. As we said, after the close, we'll get, again, more of this employment data the market might be waiting for as well. But everything riding on Nvidia at this point.
Oh, no doubt. But we're riding the wave of good feels from Day Trader LA. Shout out to you. Thank you for the 20 Trader TV Live gift memberships you just dropped. I mean, all the super chats, all the love yesterday. Trust me, we're all hoping you're $6 away on Alphabet there. We know you want $2.95, and I think we're all rooting for you. It actually tagged, I just looked up, it actually tagged $2.90 just now on Alphabet for you. So hopefully we get that next $5-6 and we can go from there. But it's like, as far as the market goes, I mean, we're teetering. Like that's the best way to put it. We're absolutely teetering between last Friday, 2 Fridays ago, last Friday, and then yesterday. Like essentially, we've just found the same bottom. And again, like another attempt to bounce. It's support till it's not. Down underneath this 25,000, like 24.6, 24.7. And if we can't hold on to this, like there's a wealth of things that have like secondary breakdowns that just follow the trend, and you just do a lot of the same stuff that's been working the last couple of days. But it's not impossible. Like, it's not impossible that you catch some kind of a bid here. But, you know, that first look off the open has been essentially to look for a short, whether it's patient and waiting 15, 20 minutes or just flushing right away the last couple of sessions. You kind of start with that as the default and kind of move on from there. I think we are ready to get our friend Mitch, Money Mitch, in the building.
All right, let's bring him in here. We'll talk a little bit about a couple of setups that Mitch Hoke is looking at so far this morning. We touched on this, Mitch, good to see you as always. We touched on this last time we talked. We're in that phase of the overall market where it's kind of a choppy back and forth, you know, less directional moves every single day. It's kind of wait and see, you know, earnings for the most part behind us outside of what's to come after the close tomorrow with Nvidia. But from a higher perspective here, what's your thoughts on where we're at?
Yeah, it's the euphoria has been taken out of the market now. You know, we were riding that up, and, you know, some people wanted to call it a bubble or not a bubble. It was a bubble, guys, but we rode it for as long as we could, and that's what we needed to do as traders, especially trend traders, right? Now the trends have changed, right? The trend's your friend until it isn't. And now it's no longer your friend. Now it's the choppy phase where you might get a trade. And this is what I was talking about last week, where longs are getting stopped, shorts are getting stopped. It's just frustrating the maximum amount of participants. So what do you got to do? Slow down the trading during this time. This is when normally you got to bring the step back down. And this is where a lot of traders get hard because and struggle because they start to just stay on the same gas pedal that they were on last month. And if you do that and you don't change with the current environment, that's how you just give the gains right back. So if you're noticing you're still giving up your returns that you just had, well, slow things down. It's okay to hit the brake pedal. Look at things like downsizing, or it's maybe just trading less, right? Less is more in this environment, guys. But we saw some winners from last week, of course, some good short callouts. Lumen, Palantir, HIMS, the momentum names really starting to break. And what was I looking at? I was just looking at names that were close to support and hadn't broken already 30, 40, 50, 60%, right? And I think you continue to look for short opportunities just like this. There's plenty still out there.
Let's talk about crypto here. IBIT or Bitcoin, depending on how you want to look at it. I mean, we're 28% off the highs here, Mitch. You mentioned this one, BITI, on the inverse side of it.
And we were talking about it because it's the short outlook of Bitcoin, right? And if you're looking for a way to short Bitcoin without going to the crypto markets, well, BITI is definitely that way to do it. And I thought that this looked awesome because of the amount of accumulation of volume that you saw on BITI just the last kind of 3 or 4 weeks. And we're talking big volume jumps. So that tells me that this move can just start get going. And this is what you call the growth outlook, right? So Bitcoin is also the growth outlook. And as that left, so did the euphoria in the market. So unless Bitcoin comes back, I wouldn't be looking at the growth stocks as the driver here in Q4. You got to look at value names, and that's no fun for a lot of people, right? We're looking at the non-sexy names now to look into the market for upside.
A lot of people, just staying on the Bitcoin theme here, a lot of people have, you know, looked into the past over the past couple of weeks here, once this sell-off really started to accelerate a little bit, and said, you know, this is kind of how Bitcoin historically has traded. We go up a lot, we go sideways. When there is a pullback, it's pretty violent. So is there an area, if you wanted to look at a BITI, is there an area where you say, okay, this is getting a little bit extended?
Yeah, I mean, you can always look at kind of the moving averages and start looking for pullbacks back to 90 MAs. But the truth is that we need to see something change here now, right? And so one thing that we started to see just these last 2 weeks was what? We started to see good earnings reports, also the stocks getting hit on good earnings reports. We need to start seeing that kind of environment start to change. One that could be coming is Nvidia, right? What if it has a bad report and the stock goes up? Things like this is what we need to start seeing adjustments to. Because if it's another good report and it gets hit again, it's just going to be showing more and more that the AI trade has really taken out kind of the bubble there, right? And that's what we need to be watching now. The big mega caps tech is starting to turn to the downside. And if this really starts to accelerate, well, clearly we can be in a bear market pretty soon, right, guys? I'm not calling a bear market yet, of course. We're just off the highs, but everything that is the driver is starting to slow down. So the only thing that can happen here is rotation to like fundamental, to financials, to healthcare, trying to keep the SPY up, right? Trying to adjust the weighting there. But right now, and it's been just like it was yesterday, when tech started to lead the upside move, you saw how quickly the Q started to move up, right? But if tech really leads this downside move, the SPY can only hang on for so long here.
If you zoom out, you mentioned Palantir there off the top. If you zoom out on Palantir, past couple of weeks, anyways, the 15-minute chart, past couple of weeks here, definitely in a downtrend, although we are yet to make a new lower low here. But, I mean, this thing's been absolutely monstrous so far this year. is it a wait and see, or how are you looking at playing Palantir in the next couple of days here?
This starts to be with the area where bears want to attack, right? Because the bulls think that they can hold on here, right? But the truth is that the price to earnings and the overvaluation in Palantir is going to be the reason it actually comes down now. And it was the reason it actually went up. I know that sounds a little bit crazy, but that's the way things work, guys. When you're in a euphoric market, yes, PEs can go to the moon, and it doesn't really matter as long as you have a growth outlook, right? This is what I call story stocks. But now the story is broken. Now you start to rely more on fundamentals and less even on technicals. So this is when you really start to see the bears start to come in, and people will hold on thinking that it's going to go back to the highs. And this is when you can really get hurt as a long-term investor, because you start to what? You start to marry the stock and become a quick bag holder.
All right, on the earnings front as well, we got a bunch of stuff out of China over this morning, but over the past couple of days here. If you just zoom out, go to the ETF, this is FXI, what are you seeing as far as China is concerned?
Yeah, I think this is an opportunity still to be had, because it was just starting to show yesterday a peak on the FXI, starting to push above the 41, make it look bullish. And then it's the same way that I talk about that they dip them before they rip them. Well, in this case, we're going to start seeing these fake breakouts and then just complete disaster on the supports, where it's just bid, 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 bid. And that's what you want to be looking for on the price action, right? So now FXI, I think, is exactly that type of stock where you can start to just see that China trade just start to fall off. And especially if we're going to go into this slowdown outlook. The markets come with the US, guys, and China did get that little push. But if we're really going to start looking at AI as a negative, well, China's already late on this ball, and this is just going to turn around their small AI move.
You had a couple of ASTS is one that we've mentioned in the past here, Planet Labs as well. From a context perspective here, is it all short until fundamentally something says, no, this is an up day, or are we just looking for plays depending on where the market's going?
Yeah, so what I'm doing now is I'm just looking at the charts especially, and looking for things that are still close to their short-term moving average, like a PL, like a Planet Labs. It's right there, just undercut their 9 EMA yesterday. So if you want to be closer to their short-term moving averages, because it's going to give us the ability to really capture the kind of the down move if the market really washes out here, right? So if you're looking at names that are already kind of 60% down, it's just harder to get it a little bit further, at an extra 20%, right? So I'm still looking at Planet Labs, and I think that overall the space area is going to see hits on their earnings reports because of what? Because of the government shutdown. I have a brother-in-law that's in kind of NASA and a different kind of government kind of exposed space areas right here, and they were shut down for so long, not doing what they needed to do, right, engineering wise. That's going to cause delays and kind of maybe even rockets that go back in time, right? So I think in this case, you're starting to see this is a speculative area, a growth outlook that could be starting to come back down to reasonable valuations. I'm not saying that ASTS is a zero here. I like Planet Labs, I like the satellite look, but the truth is, it's a little bit too much, too far gone.
And you can, make that same story in case about a lot of names right across the board.
Yeah.
Good stuff. What's the latest over at Trade the Pool?
Well, check us out, guys. Like always, we're expanding and getting to different areas. And like always, we have different opportunities for you guys from swing to day trade, right? And we're kind of pushing on towards bringing on new members for our streams to kind of continue to show you guys different outlooks, from small caps to large caps to even some futures outlook. We're giving it all here at Trade the Pool, guys. But check us out, like always. If you haven't gone to our site before, well, just take a look. You guys can also find what we call our video on demand series. I call it the Netflix of trading. So if you want to go check out the Netflix of trading, come over to our site. You won't miss it, guys.
Mitch Hoke, great stuff as always. Best of luck on Nvidia earnings eve here today.
And what about NET, man? I've been short this name since this morning, and it just keeps dropping. I can't get into ChatGPT. I can't get into Claude. I had to go to Gemini, man. Gemini. Come on, man.
Mitch.
Who goes to Gemini? But yeah, this is a good trade, man. It's just got to make money on this, man. Got to make money on this. Let's go.
Man.
Gemini's the only one that's working, so we'll give Google a little bit of an uplift.
Thanks, Mitch.
Take care, guys.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, Perplexity's down. It is. Yeah, apparently Gemini might be the only one left standing. We'll see. But
that's why Google's up, man.
Google's
up.
looking good.
Yeah.
Up. Well, they were up. I mean, they were strong regardless, I think. Alphabet.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't even need this. But if we're looking for kernels of strength, I think some of the healthcare got mentioned. Pharma, Merck. What's interesting about Merck is, like, this is one of the worst performing stocks. Well, I mean, there's a lot of bad stocks out there, but in terms of big names, it has not been a good last 2 years for these guys, and they're on the verge of a little bit. Like, we're already actually breaking out, but there's like a secondary move happening off of 90 here for Merck. So you're getting a lot of untraditional names in the last rally that are looking a little bit strong, and I got a sneak peek at these upgrades and downgrades, and there's some heavy hitters, but might not be on the side of the board you're used to.
Cheated. Neil, you got a little sneak peek. All right, guys, good morning. Happy Tuesday. I hope everyone's having a fantastic morning. I hope your platforms are working for you, because you can see that we had a little issues here. But aside from that, guys, let's get right into this. Upgrades and downgrades. At the top of the list, we have the Class A shares, GOOG, getting the nod here, guys. Price target raised by Loop Capital to $320. Now, Decker's brands as well, too, by Stifle, getting that price target raised to $117. We're up a little bit more than 0.75% on the session. Now, Kilroy Realty Corporation, BMO Capital Markets giving it the nod as well, too, guys. $44 is going to be that target. And then One Gas by UBS, price target $86. Now, Neil was right, guys. We have Amazon on the downgrade side, going from a buy to a neutral weight here, down 2% on the session, with that price target being lowered to $250 by Rothschild & Company. And Microsoft as well, too, guys. Not too good. Going from a buy to an underperform here by Rothschild, price target $500, and we are down roughly 1.9% in the pre-market session. Now, CrowdStrike as well, to a little cybersecurity, guys, down a little bit under 0.75%, price target lowered to $600 on that one. And DraftKings continuously bleeding here, guys, down 0.9%, price target being $31 by Wells Fargo. Now, let's take a look at some of the options activity from yesterday. Now, just because we're looking at calls doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go long. The reason why we want to look for calls is high levels of open interest and potential ceilings or resistance zones. So here it is in strategy here, guys. 215 strike price expiring this week. On yesterday's session, we have 4,890 contracts traded, with 33,000 still currently open. Now, as for Tesla, guys, substantial volume coming in at that 420 strike price, with open interest of 22,200 contracts there. All right, so also that's going to be expiring this week. In Netflix, some nice activity. I figured I'd put this one up there just due to the 10-to-1 split. Open interest, relatively light, but volume at that 115 strike price coming in with 33,100. Now, as for the call of the day, leading into NVDA's earnings report, now what I've observed over time in previous reports is that the open interest at a specific strike price, as obviously it may seem, will continuously increase leading into the report. At that 210 level, we have currently 107,000 contracts open. This could be a potential resistance zone, but if that supply is absorbed, you want to look for that next leg higher, and that's going to be around 215, 220. But you can see how tight the bid and ask are as well, too, guys. Only $1 spread, so the volume and the liquidity is there, absolutely. And then the delta, considering of what strike price this is, it's extremely out of the money from where we're currently trading at, relatively light, and the gamma as well too. But you can see the options market is slowly starting to price in the implied volatility with 91.2%. Keep an eye out for that expected move, guys, because it lands right around that 210 strike price. Other than that, keep your eyes on NVDA around that specific level.
I'll say one thing about Nvidia. It's not going to 210 on bad news. Nvidia can get sold or be flat on a good report, but the only way it's getting to 210 if it misses is no. It's not. Like, it would be like Geno Smith winning the Super Bowl this year. Like, it's not going to happen. That being said, we were actually joking. Geno has the best job security of any bad quarterback in all the NFL. No, it's just, look, ultimately, I think it really just comes down to, okay, we've already been told the story here. You know, Jensen came out and wowed everybody with the new expected sales, and it was that took it to the highs. I don't know what we see here that can be a little bit unexpected. I'm hoping they can give us a bit of a surprise, but yeah, I think unless this is back above the 50 period today and busting out like 187, that's actually more like 188. I think it's more, it feels like a little bit of a more of the same, at least until we get to earnings. And then we can always assess from there. Still going to be wild. Like, it's still going to be the Super Bowl of earnings tomorrow night. You'll be watching it with Sean, and obviously it's going to be a massive deal. I just don't see any way it's rising on a miss.
No, you're Wednesday, I think.
Wait a minute, are we switching or no?
No, because...
I'm confused, yeah, whatever.
yeah, because we're not having those...
Oh, we're not doing it. Never mind, don't worry about it.
Well, I would have done yesterday. Well, yeah, well, anyways, we can switch, it doesn't matter. I was just looking at MSTR here. Good call out on that one, but you know, even with Bitcoin bouncing down, we're still trying to see some relative weakness in MSTR. So this continues to be a pretty decent problem for this name. So we're going to continue to watch that. And yeah, trading Nvidia with options ahead of earnings. Randy, people want to see you here. That's why I was trying to tell you. Like, we need the coffee so people can see you. There's some requests. There's some requests for you in the chat here. I'm trying to, you know. But yeah, you pay, I mean, the premium gets elevated there, obviously, on, oh, Randy, you know what I want on close to earnings? Do you think it's possible that we would get a live view somehow of that? Like if there was a live feed somewhere of the skyline? How sick would that be?
That exists.
Like if the sun, if it was changing based on the weather, then if it was snowing at some point?
We could get a live view of the Tim Hortons lineup.
Ooh. I don't think people care about that too much.
Nobody
you want to
wants
go to Tim
see
Hortons
that.
now?
Didn't we get $50 yesterday?
Yeah, we did. We got some coffee money. You want to get something from Tim Hortons?
Ooh.
No, we can send you a message. I mean, you got to figure out what Ramin wants. The problem is, then you got to take orders.
You know what I want.
Oh.
You know
You order it online. Just go pick it up.
Yeah,
You have an account.
Yeah.
I want the
Thanks,
points,
Randy.
though. I want the points.
Yeah, we can hook you up. I want that protein latte if we're going to do that.
That was pretty good.
Okay, let's go back over to the desk. It's 9 o'clock. Although X is not working, I'm trying to get the sticky note up, you can still get our watch list emailed directly to your inbox. So go make sure you check that watch list right now. Get that description in the link in our description, our watch list. That's what we're going to be going over right now. Let's throw it back over to Sharif, and we'll get that going. Yeah, Neil does want that apple fritter.
Always.
Yeah, that's right. I know.
You know what I always want from there. It's just
Randy likes going and getting this coffee.
Oh, there it is. Dave, we just got a super chat. And I'm not surprised by this one, Day Trader LA. Can you change the background to the LA skyline?
No,
we're in Toronto.
That's at least a $500 super chat.
Yeah, come on now.
Oh, man. Imagine that we put on, says Hollywood in the back or something. You know, that'd be...
You guys beat us in the World Series. You can't...
and maybe that's a new segment. Maybe if we get a super chat, we can change that to something reasonable, you know?
Yeah.
But anyways, I like if there was a live view, I think that would be just so amazing. You know, as it was snowing
I was looking for
whatever, there could be something there.
There's a CN Tower cam.
That'd be sick. Oh, it's a Cloudflare cam?
You can't make it up. No, there is a CN Tower cam where you can get the view.
That would be sick. If we could
but
get
it's
a
down.
live...
Thank you, Cloudflare. Everything is down.
Go to Neil's
You gotta come to my page here.
Earthcam.com.
Earthcam.com. There's a CN Tower one.
How dare they use Cloudflare?
So we can't even do that.
Remember that one day was AWS was down, and then everything seemed to be hit now? Like, I still can't post on X. I don't know if anybody else.
No, you can't. I was able to post like an hour ago, but...
A real-time background would just be so sick if we could do that somewhere.
Right.
Even we just put like a little camera, like as if Randy was a minion. We just put like a camera on his head, and just like you just see what Randy sees every day.
That has to be able to be done.
Anyways, all right. Let's go back over to the desk. 9:03. Grab that watch list.
66.92, guys. That's where we closed out yesterday on the ES December contract. And most notably, we have now broken trend of higher lows. Take a look at that October 10th low, followed by the October 17th low. And then, yes, the November 7th low. We are now below that November 7th low. So the higher lows have broken down. We're already making lower highs. So here's the deal. The overnight low, 66.35. But we're defending 66.50 at least for now. So that'll be our first level of support. Let's look at that 50-point level. If we continue to bleed, we're looking at 66.25, a second level of support. If we trend up, Brendo, and you know, we haven't been trending up a lot lately. We're looking at 6,700 as resistance.
Yeah, teetering on that last line in the sand there for futures overall. If you haven't done so yet, grab the watch list. It's free. Below is the link. in the description. Top link will get you to the sign up page. You need your email address, and that is about it. And then it just shows up every single day. A ton to get through here this morning. Let's start with this crypto sell-off that continues, looking a little bit worse than the overall market here. But equities specifically getting hit along with this. I mean, we mentioned MSTR among the worst, if not the worst. To the downside, here's IBIT this morning. If you missed Mitch, he was talking about BITI as well, if you want to just be long but short at the same time.
Yeah, well, that's the interesting one there. I'll have to look at that. Yeah, let's talk about Bitcoin falling below $90,000 for the first time in 7 months, guys, signaling a sharp reversal. Down now nearly 30% from the October peak of 126,000. Decisively lost a major key area of support at 98,000. That was last week, though. And the skepticism here are fears around the future Fed rate cuts, which are now in question after multiple Fed speakers said, you know, they had been unsure about whether they want to go ahead with that. Analysts also highlighted the cascading liquidations as crypto-linked institutions dump positions. We've also talked a lot about the heavily leveraged products that are being offered by some exchanges, mostly, though, overseas exchanges, which offer up to 500, 1,000 times leverage on Bitcoin, making, you know, a small move a liquidation event. ETH also, Brendo, not spared, down nearly 40% from the August peak of 4,955. Weak liquidity on the October leverage wipeout continued to weigh on sentiment across the entire crypto index.
I was just going to say, thankfully, none of them are on Cloudflare, but I just tried to pull up Coinbase, and guess what? It's on Cloudflare, so you can't get to Coinbase today either.
Really? I haven't even tried to log into my Coinbase. That's hilarious. Like I was, my gut instinct was to try to log into Coinbase. Whatever. It doesn't.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole thing about you know, having your actual coins instead of, I guess, on a broker account there.
Oh, I can get it.
Yeah. I think maybe it's different on the app. I mean, the app might be different than online. Look, I mean, Mitch came with some different products that you could use to short or to go long or derivatives of a Bitcoin. But, you know, at the end of the day, IBIT is something that you're going to look for here. It doesn't get that. It doesn't experience the break of 90 because it wasn't open when that was happening. But it looks like we're going to hold that $50 level. And just going back here into March and April, that looks like it's a pretty, these are the levels that we were talking about need to hold, like 87, 88, 89, 90. And it looks like they did do that yesterday. So I'm okay with trading this to the long side today using right down here, like 90 sort of as your crutch. So if we're going to do that, yeah, what about that $50 mark that we sort of spiked off of there? So I think that would be something to look at. It is obviously in a downward trend here. So if you're going to go long, I think that $50 mark there might give us something, but that would be down 3 or 4%. So that's the bounce level from last night. But I just want to play the trend, and the trend is downside. So for me, I really think that Bitcoin is a short until this whole market is corrected. So if I'm going to look over here, the 200 period moving average right now is at 53.50. That's probably good enough for a short. Between 53.50 to 54 right now, if we really get going on crypto, I think it's a short $2 higher or a long $2 lower. It's like it's stuck in the middle. It bounced around here yesterday all day, you know, between 90 to 92, like back and forth, back and forth. So the fact that it's at 91.3 right now doesn't get me too excited. But yeah, oh, you know, we saw this yesterday. This is not going to be on our board here today, but gold yesterday had a decent move, right? And the thing is that this whoosh to the downside was pretty aggressive there right near the end of the day. From 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, you had about a not 10, but a $7 move to the downside, and we've made that all back. So I'm actually looking at physical gold today to see if we can break above yesterday's sort of levels, which is 375.50. So I think this is a good trade here. You know, like Bitcoin, we don't really have too many levels to work off of unless you want to break yesterday's high, which I guess I could expand it out and looked at that. But I think gold, with this move down and then this get up back in again, and we talked about the US dollar, I think this is a good play here for gold. So a break of 275.50 to the upside, I think gets a little exciting here, as we've now bounced off now basically twice off the 50 period, or 3 times. Once, twice, and then 3 times right here, trying to bounce up to get back to 4 bills. I think this has 400 in it before it has 350 again. We haven't even seen 350. We've seen 400. I think it's going to hold this 50 period, get back there to the upside. Gold, I think, better than Bitcoin for now. Looking like it anyways on the chart.
Oh, for now, yeah. I even like some silver in there too as well. I think there's at least a chance of like a muted bounce long, but I mean some things have to happen. Bitcoin for me needs to close the 15-minute or the first 15-minute bar, maybe even the first two, to be honest with you, above 91.5, which it's like 52.25 or so on IBIT. If that can happen, I think you have a little kind of a muted move that you can get. Like whether it goes 1,000 or extends a little further than that, it's a good support line. We just haven't been able to hold above it. But while we're testing and holding underneath that 91.5, then I know where I want to be. It's kind of the same thing from Friday, and it worked on Friday and it worked yesterday too. So it's just waiting for that curl to happen in Mara and trying to be patient about it. Like at the open yesterday, they made the high in the first 15-minute bar. That was the high of the day, failing 12. On Friday, like it kind of slowly worked higher and then rolled over at about 11:30. But you were shorting that high the entire time. I'm looking for the same thing on Mara. If you're not breaking if we're just sitting with the same range of Bitcoin as the top, then just look at one of the weaker names for a continuation short. Whether that ends up being 12 again or down here, this 1170 resistance almost doesn't matter to me. As long as we don't break out and close above 91.5 and pressure 92, then this remains a short.
I don't know if we I don't know if we commented on David. Thank you so much. Yeah, for the 10 super chats, the 10
Thanks,
gifts.
David.
Thank you, David and Day Trader LA. So that's 30 right there for you guys. Coming $5 a month gets you Sharif's watch list, gets you also the ability to put on these different emojis, which I don't see anybody really flashing right here. But thank you so much for all that support, and yeah, all the money will go into trying to find a live feed for the CN Tower camera sponsoring.
We'll get it.
Different DDS than Cloudflare. All right, let's go back over to the desk. It's Apple time. Are your iPhones working today? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, decent numbers for iPhone 17 sales coming out of China. It seems like demand continues to not only be better than expected, but wait times specifically still longer than they have been in quite some time.
Yeah, Brendo, this is the best Apple's looked in about 4 years in China. So not a moment too soon. Let's talk about it. Apple capturing 25% of all smartphone sales in China in the month of October. Of course, the highest level since 2022. iPhone sales specifically jumped 37% year over year, powered almost entirely by the strong adoption of the new iPhone 17 lineup. It's a good look there. Counterpoint says all three iPhone models posted mid to high double-digit growth, with the base model here leading unit volumes. Over 80% of Apple's unit sales in China last month came from new iPhone generation, not other products. So it gives you an idea how important the iPhone is there. Counterpoint research as well, forecasting that Apple could deliver a record December quarter in China, rising ASPs as well, which means the average selling price also expected to boost that top line revenue as things obviously a bit more expensive. Counterpoint goes on to note, though, that there is some risk ahead, Brendo. It's not all smooth sailing here. The Huawei Mate 80 series launches November 25th, which is a premium phone and a key competitor, of course, to the Pro Max.
Apple not looking too bad here so far this morning compared to the overall market. It looks like something's slowly starting to come back here, maybe, as far as websites are concerned, although TweetDeck not really working too well so far, but something's starting to come back online, guys.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, X is back. I can't attach media, but I can do everything else.
And plus, too, like, if you can't use like X Pro or like TweetDeck, like that's how I utilize it 90% of the time, because I want to be able to see everything coming through in real time. But look, Apple. Oh, we'll talk. Yeah, Google's out on the bottom, so no need to do all the Mag 7 at once. Apple. We talked about key prices and ranges before. It's 70 to 71, like in this range. Right, like kind of that support into this gap. It's just been a chop fest. So you get into that and you're kind of at the resistance spot. You get down into the mid 60s and you're at a support spot. So I think with Apple, the chop fest is real. You just have to wait for it to get to a key price and then try to trade. Like when it was moving higher, you waited for 75, 76, and then that would be a short. And now I think that prior support turns into resistance. So call it about that 71 on Apple. Look, Apple's been holding up really well, for sure. But that has meant while the market's been weak, it's been in a chop range. So if it's not trading at the bottom of the range, which is that 66 area, maybe closer to 66, 67, I don't think you look long. And if it's not trading near that top, I think you also stay away. So it's a good sign that it's holding up well, but it's still like every other name requires patience. Wait for it to reach those key levels and then make your decision. Is it immune to rolling over a little bit here? Probably not, but it hasn't happened yet.
Amazon. All right. I mean, we already talked about Apple. I mean, I really like that stock. I'm buying more of it if it goes down. But yeah, Amazon here is the one that's sort of getting hit now, down 2%. So Amazon continues to get hit here. I was talking with Joe. He was liking some of this name here as well. And I was just saying, like, at this 50-period moving average rate here, probably worth taking a little bit of a step. At it from 255 all the way down to 230 there, and then looking to see if we hold this 200-period moving average, which has held, of course, since May. So just watch out to see if Amazon comes back in just a little bit, down 2%, and I think does hit the skids a little bit here today. So we talked about Apple still up here on the 50-period moving average, Amazon down here. I don't want to rotate from one into the other, but I like Amazon down here, and I think it continues to work. In this environment. Everyone's worried about the spending. And that's what the good thing about Apple is that they haven't actually spent that much on AI. We already know about that. They're going to be receiving money from Gemini, from Google, to install Gemini as the base and make it operate with Siri. So that's what they're in business with right now. And we're going to figure out if they bounce down into, I mean, look how good this 50-period moving average looks on Apple. Like, not only that, you have this base right here that we've broken out from that could act as support for base and then as support for 50-period. So yeah, this looks like a great level to do some shopping at 260 or so if Apple can get down there in the next couple of days. So yeah, I like the stock here. It's the next one that bothers me a little bit. I thought Home Depot, I'm not in the name, but it's a name that I want to get into. And it's really been struggling for the last 6 months or so. Let's go find out the story about Home Depot and then what are we going to do with it today?
All right, Home Depot to the downside actually just made a new low here on the morning, continuing to plummet. Again, pretty thinly traded. Not a lot of volume behind this. You can see at the bottom we're not doing a heck of a lot of execution so far, but not good numbers here for Home.
This is not good, Brendo. This is the third quarter in a row they've missed on EPS. They can't seem to shore up costs, despite a beat on the top line. Not by much, but a beat nonetheless. $41.35 billion ahead of the $41.11 expected by the street. They also cut their full-year profit outlook, now looking at EPS for the full year to come in around 5%. That's 2% lower than they had previously guided, so another miss there, not just on the quarter, but on full year. Full-year sales, so that top line number expected to grow about 3%, helped really, though, by the $2 billion contribution from the GMS acquisition, which we'll cover in a second. Comparable sales will only be slightly positive, says the company, and the stock, at least at the time of the writing of this article, was down 8%. We'll have to see where it ends up at the end of the year. Here's what they're blaming, Brendo. They expected a pickup in home improvement activity as mortgage rates eased. That didn't happen. Also, lower storm activity hurt categories like roofing, generators, tarps. Believe it or not, fewer storms are hurting them. Customer transactions fell 1.6%, but the average ticket price did rise. So how are they trying to get around all this? Well, they're really trying to focus on that professional contractor. They're really looking to kind of engage with the professional class of, contractors and try to target them directly. They made major acquisitions, which helped a little bit. SRS Distribution back in 2023, and that GMS one I mentioned, $18.25 billion. That was back in 24. Now contributing to that top line number.
We were wondering when the buyers were going to come back in, and whether or not the lower interest rate environment would help this, home improvements, things like that, more financing, but not the case yet. Still lots of uncertainty. XRT, if you want to look at the overall retail group, also downside here this morning. Again, not a lot of volume, guys, pretty thin.
Yeah, HD could get to some pretty key levels today. 330, 3/4 to 330 for sure. It won't even be, it's not like it'll be SSR if it gets down there, but this is a pretty, 4.5 is a pretty big move for them. I think that's where you look for Home Depot to pick a little something up. It's like with prices increasing, the way that they are, yikes. Like this was one name that you kind of figured was getting close to making a bit of a bottom, and you'd see a little maybe strength in housing be able to help them, but it doesn't seem to be the case. As for a trade that's remotely adjacent to it, I don't know how likely it is you see that support. I think you put the 3-day rule on it, and if it holds 25s, maybe you get a bounce, 25 to 30. But Open Door, on the other hand, This is actually down. It's not on our watch list or anything, but down almost 7% at one point, down 6% today. Lost the 50-period moving average. On Friday was a pretty epic reversal at the $9 level. Yesterday effectively failed $8 3 separate times. So support to resistance, resistance, resistance. And now today, I'm looking for a similar thing, like this bottom in here yesterday at 750, and then this bottom, I'm looking to short into that. As Open Door loses that 50 period on the daily, feels like it's headed back a little bit lower. So that's the name that I'm going to look to trade back into the prior day lows. Open Door for me.
It's TQQ. Yeah, I'm thinking, it's not Tesla, it's TQQ. All right, so HD and retailers. Yeah, so look, we talked about this before. I like the dividend that they're providing, obviously, but yeah, pretty big downside push here for Home Depot. It doesn't look like it's getting any better with a forward year cut on their estimates. Not good again on that. We still have a lot of tariff uncertainties. We still wonder about what the jobless rates are. Can you get my face off here? I just want to show this level that's down here. Yeah, so down here at 325 is sort of, we bounced around here for about 3 months between April and July of the summer months, 2 summers ago. And that might be the bottom because we did bounce around here this summer as well. So we're just in these sort of levels. And I think it's worth picking something up down here. Home Depots aren't going anywhere. They're not at risk of going out of business. But I just think with the uncertainties of the current job market and uncertainties of tariffs, and where these rates are going. I mean, are people switching homes now? Probably not, staying in current homes, which is nice for Home Depot, people doing renovations and whatnot. But I always feel like the Christmas months and the winter months are slow for Home Depot, but that might be part of their guide. So let's see if it continues its downside push. It might not. That's a decent gap down right now. So I think we could get like a gap and go on this name. You definitely want to be taking out VWAP. So right now there's the gap down to 340. We wait to see if there's a bid coming through for Home Depot today. I mean, you don't get this name down 5% too often. I feel like there could be a nice little buy happening. I don't know if they sniffed out the quarter or not, but it was getting hit way before this. So even just the last 5 or 6 days, it's a nice downside play there for Home Depot. Looks like they're definitely got their fangs out for this one. Down now 5%. Pretty nasty day here for Home Depot. I do think it rebounds though, and to pick something up around 325 if it does get back into there.
All right, Nvidia coming up tomorrow after the close. The trend continues to be to the downside. A couple of minor things to be aware of this morning. Comments, I guess, not necessarily analyst moves specifically, but comments from a few key ones on a cautionary note here, which is interesting going into the earnings report.
Absolutely, Brendo. This is, analysts are mixed a little bit here on Nvidia. So let's talk about it. If I can find it, there it is. Okay, so some analysts, they see earnings as a catalyst to kind of halt this AI drawdown, this blood in the street that we've been putting in lately. Others fear that the stock still isn't cheap despite the correction. Here's what we're expecting. $1.23 on EPS, $54.83 billion in revenue, and we're going to be listing specifically on the call for guidance, of course, AI chip demand. We also want to know any comments about competitive threats, from AMD, Broadcom, and of course, upcoming Chinese rivals. Remember, Jensen Huang saying basically their China market is now zero. Somebody's buying AI chips over there and they're making gains. I want to see if he comments about that. And we also know several large investors, Brendo, have dumped their Nvidia holdings. As you mentioned yesterday, Peter Thiel's macro fund exited its full stake. That was around $100 million. SoftBank sold $5.8 billion worth of Nvidia last week. And of course, we know the Birdman, Michael Burry, bought short-dated puts on Nvidia, betting on a sell-off. So we'll have to see how this works out.
Session lows right now, guys, for NVDA.
Story this morning about ARM, NVIDIA making some, basically ARM being compatible with NVIDIA's stacks, and it's like ARM didn't even budge on that. I'm like, oh, that's not good. Like, I think it was down like 1.5, and it was still down 1.5 after the story came out. So I think we're in a moment where, unfortunately, some of the good news isn't really causing you to get the bounces that you might expect specifically in this space. And I don't know, look, whether that continues or not, we're going to find out. I'm a little skeptical that it will, but it's certainly possible that you could get your typical beat and guidance raise, and then maybe NVIDIA doesn't go flat. For today, for now, look, the stock's under the 50-period moving average. And it's still, if you look at yesterday's trade, even though there was that bounce, it was still a hard floor at a prior support level at 188, and you were putting in lower highs, and you got a little bit of that going on too. So I'm kind of thinking about the usual suspects for myself. Like SMCI 35 is going to be a level for me, as that's just been, like when NVIDIA goes down or NVIDIA's weak, there's a bunch of other stuff that moves more. So I think that's where, again, to try to go to. Like 35 is a level for me on SMCI. If we don't get anything, or if I don't get anything like that, 34.5 would be the next place to look. I'm just looking for that whole stair step down. At the open, it requires patience. If SMCI starts doing this, I know that I don't want to be a part of it. Intel's another name that I look at for that little pop and fade. But until we start breaking out, today it's about 188. Above that 50-period moving average going into earnings, I think just sort of sticking with the game plan. Most days out of the last couple of weeks, like if you shorted every single day on SMCI, the last like 10, you've had effectively one bad day, right? Like that's about it. Like on Friday sucked, everything else was good. So I think that's the pattern until proven otherwise.
Look, I wrote down here on the sticky note AMD instead of Nvidia today. I'm just looking at the short here for AMD, so you guys can go have a quick look at this if you're interested in it. It won't let me post the actual media, but I can post, I can get out. So I just wrote down 241. Like for some reason, we ripped up to 241 there right at the close yesterday, so that's a level that I'm looking at. It's pretty simple for me. You know, we were definitely watching this stock pretty much get hit all day, and then right at the end of the day, which we had, remember we had that great Tesla, we had about a $5 or $6 winner there, maybe $4 or $5 winner on Tesla right at the end of the day on that break, but it looks like AMD also goes at $4 or $5. So that's nice for a $200 stock, but why did it do that, right? In balances and just a relief, we called the relief rally yesterday at the close, and we had it in Tesla, but I don't want to short Tesla, I'd rather short AMD. The momentum here is down, we're down 1.69, the market's only down 0.69, so this is definitely weaker than expected. The 200 period's at 238, I don't want to get too excited with this. I don't necessarily think lowering your share size or anything like that, but being very, very specific on what you're doing. So not taking some 239s, let's just wait for 241. Let's not get too excited if it does pop early here. We do want to watch, as Neil was saying, we want to watch Nvidia. It's the dog that wags the tail, but at the end of the day, AMD continues to be hit. And one day ahead of Nvidia earnings, could be some positioning going on there, so I'm going to stay away from that one. Would much rather be looking at AMD and Google, which is the next story.
Yeah, over the past couple of days here, we've heard about and talked about a couple of different angles on why we should be buying Google. There's more today on the back of what happened with Warren Buffett and Berkshire after the close on Friday. If you zoom out a little bit, remember that was the move that we talked about yesterday. Huge move after the close from that Berkshire buy, but more people stepping in here today to Google.
Yeah, Loop Capital throwing their hat into the bullish ring here. Brendo upgrading Google from a hold to buy. They're citing renewed confidence in the durability of their core business, of course, which is search. Analyst Rob Sanderson at Loop argues that investors' fears about, AI cannibalizing search revenues is starting to ease as the business actually shows accelerating momentum. So what do we mean here? We're talking about the search revenue that grew 15% in Q3, which is the fastest it's grown since late COVID, so good look there. And their AI, Gemini, of course, I jokingly make fun of it, but it's growing rapidly. Brendo now has 650 million users, with query volume tripling quarter over quarter, signaling increasing user adoption. And RAM uses it, so then they're good to go.
It has to be.
Of course.
It has to be tried and true. Google, guys, 288, I guess, here, trying to hold on a pullback right now, but definitely relatively strong here so far this morning.
Yeah, I was on the note and missed it yesterday. Today, again, always willing to miss the trade to make the trade. Before we get to Google, very quickly, Cloudflare is a sell of 450,000, QBTS 300,000 to the sell side. Nothing too big. Fastly, you'll see in there for 400,000. WTO is a penny stock, so you probably don't care that it's 4 million to the buy side because that's not a lot of volume. But as far as Alphabet goes, look, relative strength, no question. Whether it's Berkshire, whether it's their relative, PE relative to its peers, certainly a lot of things are working there. I had 283 written down. Obviously, it hit 290 earlier. So the notion of only waiting for 283 or 283.5 in here seems maybe a little bit misguided now that you made another push to the upside. So I'd be willing to look at the 285 as a bit of a start as well. But again, patience. It doesn't feel like we're going to get a clean breakout at the open day because yesterday, it was trading off of those lows. So a bit of a different story here today. I think you dip back in. 83 and 85 is where I like on those two. And buckle up. Should be wild.
We have the number one trade idea on today's sticky note is Google, right at that level that Neil mentioned between, I'm actually a little bit even higher than that, 285 to 286, right? Yesterday's close for Google. Play the momentum, it's up 1.13%. Let's just say today is a rally day in the market. You know, you're gonna wanna be long this name. So let's just wait to see what winds up happening. I just wrote it down because it's yesterday's closing price. Obviously, once we broke it right here at noon, we did make a move down into 284 and change with only 20 seconds left. Right now, we'll have to wait to see what winds up happening right now with Google. So yeah, so far so good here, man. Welcome to the jungle. This is brought to you by AIML Innovations. Go check them out, AIML.health on the CSE AIML. Thank you for sponsoring this opening bell. Let's go. All right, we are now open with the Nasdaq opening the day down 0.6, the ES opening the day down 0.5, and we watch to see what winds up happening. Google immediately to the downside as some of these names are getting hit just a little bit, so we'll have to wait to see now. See, like normally I'd be thinking about buying this move down in right now, but let's just give it a little bit of time just to make sure that we are right. It's only 9:30 and 20 seconds right now, but here comes Google right into the levels that we like, but I'm gonna hold off early just to make sure that this is the right move. So yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be a rally day or not. Say
Google down, Bitcoin up.
Yeah, Google down, Bitcoin up. Yeah, exactly. The other name we had was AMD as a short. So yeah, just for right now, not much happening other than that Google move down actually right now.
Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin's very slightly moving to the upside. Google is coming back in here and it is dipping decently. I look over SMCI's up. Open Door is actually trending to the upside. This is one that I wanted to fade, but I have to wait for a little bit of a move here to try to jump into that one short. I mean, Google's close to that 85, so I might get picked up in a quick little second. Oh, no, never mind. I thought we were getting a bid on some of the chip names because I was looking at SMCI. But Nvidia is actually going in the other direction. Nvidia is headed lower as we speak. So Nvidia about to break 282. Alphabet is coming into that 85 level.
Yeah, I just took a small little long here, but only giving it to this bottom, which is right now, 284. There it is, so gone. So we wanted to try it at 285. It was a level that we wrote down, but we did say patience may be key. It breaks through. We lose 50 cents there, and very, very comfortable with that hit.
A very slow trigger.
As we trigger right back down in again into these levels. So we're going to have to wait to see now what happens. The market is coming back in quite nicely. We did write down the TQs. The short that we wanted was AMD, and right now that is cranking. I mean, everything's cranking lower right now. So we'll have to be patient on that. And, you know, normally we would have taken a VWAP trade there, but like I said, not afraid about the share size. It's more about being patient and make sure that we do have the right level. So AMD downside, and then the TQQ trade, we were, again, waiting for the pop, and there wasn't really any today. So maybe we'll get that eventually. But maybe there's a bottom now. I don't know. Here comes the market.
I mean, it's early. Let's be real. Like, it's only been 2 minutes in here, and for sure, you can easily see a quick little reversal come back in. Yeah, that Google just held it. Wow, Google just went back into 86. I have Intel up and I had SMCI to see which one is going to be a little bit weaker. But by the way, Cloudflare just went $8 off the low.
I think everything's fixed. Maybe.
Yeah, I think maybe everything is fixed. When that bounces $8 now even further, this might even go green today. Like, that's absolutely wild for Cloudflare. Again, sometimes it's a buying opportunity when everyone realizes just how much everybody is using them. This is exactly what you end up getting. Okay, Open Door. It's still pressing. I don't know if it gets to $8, but if it curls here, I'm going to take my first shot at this one. Big bounce in the market. It's almost like it waited for that big candle in Cloudflare to get some continuation.
Yeah, big time. I mean, right now our Google trade would be $2 in the money, but you know, this is the problem about waiting. Is that sometimes you do miss those moves, but if you get in early, you got to have a stop. But there goes Google, right off of our level, man. I mean, we wrote down 285, it went to 284.50s there, then ripped back up. But that's a good story there for net. So nice little move back to the upside right there. As you just mentioned, they're reporting that pretty much everything is back to, well, I don't know, back to normal, but we just heard in our ear.
I mean, I can use
there is some sort of a rally back
or whatever
in the
market to
call it. Due to that. So there goes Bitcoin as well, 92.2. So that's really nice to see. Right here, AMD's not getting to our levels. PLTR, we wrote down 163. That probably got there, and I wasn't even paying attention to it because we were watching Google. No, actually, Palantir went completely the other way here today to start with. Palantir didn't even go down at all. So nice move there for Palantir, straight there to the upside. Wow, that Google trade is just now so in the money, and not in the money because we don't have it, but there it goes, man. Nice move right there back to the upside. If it comes back in, I'm going long again down here. If it does come back in, let's get some 285 flats, and then we'll wait to see if we eventually break 284. But I could see the market turning just a little bit here back to the downside. AMD is not catching a break, so it's still down. So we'll have to watch out for some
Intel.
AMD. Here comes everything back in a little bit.
Yeah, Intel's still looking weak and looking weaker than SMCI, so that breaks the tie as far as I'm concerned. Down 1.5%, actually even more than that. If we end up breaking 34, I'll just wait to get VWAP one more time in here. It's just a matter of where we find the relative weakness, and it looks like it's there. Open Doors also trying to roll over at yesterday's low, so those are the two names, at least for now, that have orders on trying to pick up some shorts off the highs. Is we're going to go to the desk with Adara.
I just want to let you guys know
sound?
here, for one, we're going to do what we can here with regards to news on X. Of course, X is having some issues with Cloudflare, but I want to talk about this meeting we're going to have between President Trump and the Crown Prince and Prime Minister of Saudi Arabia later today. I'm seeing some reports here on X suggesting that according to a senior U.S. official, the U.S. and Saudi are expected to announce a multi-billion-dollar deal for Saudi to invest in America's AI infrastructure. So again, we're likely to get some kind of AI infrastructure investment announcement from this U.S. Saudi Arabia meeting we're having tonight, guys. Back to you.
I'm going to assume there's probably some talk of selling them some military hardware because LMT is seemingly moving to the upside. I'm just guessing about that. I can't figure out why else that would be moving, to be honest with you. And that meeting, hey, they sell jets to the Saudis, so why wouldn't they in this particular case? Only the second position in for me after the Google broke through that 285. It's Intel. I did not get filled in Open Door. I'm just going to give it to the high. And if we end up holding this range for the first 15 minutes, scalp inside. And if you break 34, look to add to it. The market is very much, I don't know, we're topsy-turvy or yo-yo so far at the open, right? Like we kind of tried to break the high, didn't. Tried to break the low, didn't. So individual names, if they're in your plan of action and still trading in the right range, I think you're okay. But nothing too insane happening outside of that move in the Cloudflare, which is still going, by the way. Like look at that's ridiculous. Wow. Yeah, I guess we've learned our lesson. When there's an outage that affects everything and everyone gets reminded of how important they are,
yeah, it might be
apparently just buy the open on Cloudflare.
Yeah, I think they're going to get it fixed.
This is the opening. This is the opening print, by the way, at 187.47 or something like that. The end of the 3-minute candle is at 196.
Right.
I think that's absolute insanity.
Google's coming back in maybe look at some CrowdStrike or Palo Alto or things like that too for cybersecurity maybe on a day like today to figure out what exactly happened with Cloudflare. I don't know exactly, but whether or not it was like a CrowdStrike issue where they ruled out something that didn't work, was there a hack? All that will get figured out at some point. Google's just trying to. I'm bidding 285 flat. Like I want to make sure that I do get. I could bid a little bit here just to get the party started at 20s. But right now we'll do that bid. But I'm right here right now. So hopefully we can get this fill come through right now at 03s. I'm at. It just went to 06s. There we go. We got it pretty violently as well. So now a break of 284 and we'll be out of this. Okay. We do want to play momentum to some point here. And with Google, I'm pretty sure that we have a reason for this to go back to the upside today, and here it goes right now. So let's just take out a little bit here at 59. There it is. We get that pretty easily. And then now we'll watch to see if maybe we can get another runner. We just stopped at the 200 period, which is 87. So let's go 286.50 again. We'll put something there, and then we'll go to 287 almost flat, 286.90 to take out another piece and see if we can get going there to the upside. There goes Google. So we're right back into it. There we go, man. We're green on the day right now if we just get out. There's 286, 287. Here's a dollar club. So there we go. We'll take that dollar. So there's your first dollar club winner for me today as Google right there back up to the upside. So long Google over here, short Intel over there. I hope you guys are enjoying the stream. Hit the like and the subscribe. There it is, man. We're back to Greensville finally.
Yeah, and by the way, Bitcoin just went green as well and is breaking out above the level that I'm looking for. It's 52.25. It's 20.92 and a quarter. And if you close, like I said, if we close the first candle above that, I'm long. If not, then I'm shorting Mara, but we're only in one short, and it happens to be Intel, and it is heading right back into the low of the day. So 34 even is low of the day. That's when we're going to get the next exit point. Going to short the pops in this. It's just a matter of it being relatively weak compared to pretty much everything else. Like the Nasdaq, look, the Nasdaq isn't really doing much, but it is slightly to the upside here. So if you didn't break the highs, then I want to fade you, and keeping a very close eye on that Bitcoin. It is looking pretty, it's looking, what's the best way to say it without being too enthusiastic? It's looking much better than it has any other day, but I don't think it's necessarily a blow off top yet. I want to see the buyers hold this range. It's a pretty key level at this 92 quarters. And if it does roll over, the stock I have up right now is Mara's gone a bit parabolic on that same move. If I see some weakness, then I jam short in Mara instead of Bitcoin. Just think it'll move more.
Yeah, we are getting in a little bit of trouble here because our good friend Google is making its way lower. So we take a 284.50 fill right there. We only got one other out since we left you, and that was at 286.20s. No, sorry, that was the same fill that we got before when we were like Dollar Club. Well, now we're almost in the, we're not in the reverse Dollar Club or anything, but we are watching out for Google to break it. But right here, look at this. Here's another dollar right now on more than $1. Look at this short on AMD. I know Neil's got Intel as well, but there we go, man. 235.45. We just shorted AMD right there. Another call off the note. There it goes, man. Yes, sir. Nicely cooking. Now $1.30 now in the money for AMD as it continues to get lower and lower and lower. Breaking through 233. Let's go. Where are we on this bid, man? Oh, there it is. We just got it again. Boom. Double the bid, double your fun right there to the outside. Yes. Now $2 now in the money. We cooking, but it's Google right now that just got cooked again to the downside. So that name keeps going lower. But wow, it is now $2 plus on this AMD trade as we continue to go lower right here, right now. So see you later, AMD to the downside. But it's Google that just bouncing now off 284. Maybe we just pick the bottom there again? I don't know. Let's not try to fight too much. The shorts seem to be way easier than the longs here today. So far, so good on this name. But yeah, look at Google, man. Now up $1 from where we got out. So pretty violent moves here for sure. And those, you know, trading maybe less shares there, probably pretty good because you can absorb some of these plays. Futures, though, trying to do something. I don't know. Just right now, not doing much, man. Right where we opened, right at VWAP, right at the 50-period moving average. Futures kind of stuck right there. And here comes Google right back in again.
Yeah, we're right back. And as a matter of fact, the futures just did the exact same move. We just ran the bottom. This 15-minute candle is not doing much of anything. Like, we just ran the same low to not break it and then tempted to get above VWAP. Like, it's very much like I'm trying to let this 15-minute candle close before taking the next trade. And whether it's IBIT or Mara, like, look at the bottom tail. 34 broke. Wow. And then we're at 33.9, and then we're right back at 34.05. Like, we're all over the place, at least off of this open. Speaking of open,
let it cook.
Open door moved down to the volume weighted average price. This one's a little bit different. I think this can get 10% today to said downside. So on the radar for me was open door, but just didn't really give a clean entry on that initial pop. Any subsequent pop, and I want to be short this name back into the volume weighted average price. And Bitcoin's rolling over. I said if that happened, I take my first shot at Mara. That is happening, so I'm taking my first shot short at Mara into the current high of the day. Looks like maybe we're still headed southbound. Whoops. I want to throw one.
Yeah, guys, everybody, please lock in right now. Lock in like the Raptors right now. 8 of last 9 games winning. But right here, we're locked in, man. This is now 350. Another one. In the money right now as we ride the bear. Look at this AMD trade just absolutely fall apart all over itself right now. I'm going to take another out. Why not? 232 flat. There it goes. We take another out. We're short at 235.50. Now 350 in the money on AMD short. But we did already lose on our Google long, so we'll go 0 for 1 on, or 0 for 2 on the idea for Google. But the short right now is, wow, we are now $4 and change, Sharif, in the money on this AMD short. Look at this trade right there off VWAP all the way to the downside into 231 as we continue to go lower and lower right now, man. This has been a pretty violent day for the chip names as well. I mean, that's both of us are trading that. AMD and JP Morgan back to $300 again after dipping into 298 there early on. But yeah, AMD really getting hit. Maybe it's Palantir time. Let me have a quick little look there. Palantir trying to bounce off the 200 right now. I don't know, on the 1 minute,
Not much is bouncing right now.
Yeah, I'd rather wait, man. We got a big win here now, $4 plus on AMD.
Yeah, everything is heading to the downside in here. Again, that's why you look for those shorts early, but not really seeing much of anything. It's bouncing SMCIs. Nowhere even close to looking for a short. Just going to throw it up because we haven't done so yet to remind everybody. I see a name there that I've never seen before. So if you're typing in the chat any names, like Palantir, I just saw in there. Make sure you hit that $, everybody. OLMA is a small capper that everyone's involved in or looking at. Nvidia NET, obviously Cloudflare makes a heck of a lot. Remember the $sign before your ticker. Gold and silver also moving around a little bit here. I'd like to see those make the list every now and then. Anton, thank you for the super chat. Thanks to the channel for introducing you to OLMA. That's the one we're just looking at. Save my portfolio and I'm able to short all my tech stocks without losses.
Ooh.
So OLMA, hey, let's...
Hate those losses.
It's OLMA. Why can't I call it up? Oh, there it goes. It wasn't in my drop down.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Well, I wanted to...
Google.
Yeah, I wanted to say good things about this, but it just lost VWAP and halted down. And reopened and is looking a little bit weak. So this is actually kind of heading in the other direction, but good for the morning. Sometimes the best price you're going to get is in the pre-market. Good luck with this one. Up 150% still, but probably worth backing off now after that halt to the downside. Let it settle down a little bit.
Yeah, we're cooking here with gas, it seems like right now. This market is off here to the big side. One way now, down. Right now pretty decently as well. We're going to take another shot here. We've taken some shots for sure at Google. So we're going to just keep on firing here at this name. I do like the long, and here it goes. Yeah, let's go. Let it cook the other way right now. And we'll see if we can get going back upside here as famed rapper Brendan Ingram right now dating Glorilla. So we are letting it cook. That's why we keep saying it. Okay, here we go. Nice move to the upside right now. $1 back the other way, Neil, on this trade right now with Google. So far, so good right there. We did cash out of some of this AMD, obviously. We have a very small amount right now of AMD left as we just cleared it out on the way down to the point of where we have about... actually, I'd have to double check how many shares I actually had in the first place. But right now, here we go. Let's worry about Google. Let's see if that can get going back up to the upside. We've now gotten out of half of this move down here at 283. So let's just see if it can really get going. I'll put out one more fill. Just bounced off of that. I was going to say 284.20s. Let's see if we can get that, and then we'll go a little bit more upside after. So nice trade back into the upside here for Google. Let's see if it goes, man. Green today. Yes, we are back to Greensville right there. So hit the cash register on that one. Nice move there. I know you're short right now, so you're probably green for sure. Shout out to Daytrade LA. Turn just made me everything he lost on Google. So there's the big shout out right there. Thank you, Dave, Daytrader LA. I'm going to look at that in a minute, but right now we're cooking with Google and AMD.
Yeah, good. Turn, it's interesting. That stock doesn't do any volume, so good luck out there. This has done like a couple 100,000 shares. TRN barely even moves. But hey, let's see. That's the power of like maybe you're trading options. I'm going to make the assumption that you're using options there, Day Trader LA, because I can't imagine you're trading shares. But here's what just happened in Bitcoin, why I'm into Mara. This was Bitcoin plunging through VWAP and through the 52. So short of the pop in MARA, going to get some out in front of VWAP, and we're going to go to Adara at the desk.
Yeah, I want to keep you guys posted here with regards to Cloudflare. Here's the chart here, NET. We know that this one has had some service issues. Well, now they're saying, as of about a minute ago, that a fix has been implemented, and they believe that the incident is now resolved. Now, it's worth noting, around 7:30 a.m., they also said they were starting to see improvements from this issue, and that was not, in fact, the case. So we'll have to wait and see. X seems to be working fine as of right now. So again, Cloudflare is saying that the fix has been implemented, and they do believe that this incident, which involved outages for platforms like X and ChatGPT, has been resolved. I want to let you guys know as well. At 10 a.m., we are expecting some data, including factory orders month over month and the NEHB housing market index.
Oh, we are getting that number. Yes.
We do want to make sure that before we get all those numbers that you guys do scan that QR code right there, because this is brought to you by Beta Pro by Global X. This is 3 times daily levered ETFs, including the S&P TSX 60, utilities, treasuries, everything. This is available on the TSX, and they are doing a fee rebate or fee holiday until December 31st, just 65 basis points. So get the leverage, get the 3 times leverage there. And just for everybody wondering, they are also currency hedge. So you can get that pure performance with Beta Pro by Global X. See, I just didn't even have to read anything there. We've done that so much. I want to thank them for once again sponsoring the program. Okay, here we go, man. Google, we just got more shares, so we did a little bit of a reload. So we'll see if we can get another one going on there. And make sure that you do subscribe. Let me see how many people are actually subscribed right there. 21.4. We got that one going through one more time. AMD, nice little bounce there, just as we were talking. We got another 230 fill, so 230 flat right there on AMD. But it's Google right now. That's not
Tesla 400.
Tesla's going downside to 400.
Tesla just wicked 400 twice.
Yeah, the market wants to go down again here.
Well, the market's headed down. If this does another false break of the 400 level, mean reversion time.
Here comes Google.
Potentially. Look at, okay, whoa, okay, never mind. Never mind that. I was just saying if it wicks the 400 level, yeah, someone jammed short just now, or someone sold a lot of shares. Suffice to say, if you're looking for a bounce at the 400 level, I was just watching it as it went through, and it was that was convincingly deep, that selling that just happened. I think the market also just broke the low of the day.
Yeah.
I actually had my order ready to go if it came back up through 400 to try to punch long on the way back through. And next thing I know, it was staring at 99s on the offer. That's wild. I already won $1 down. So yeah, looking pretty nasty. I guess the shorts are still in, unfortunately. That Tesla's looking yuck is the best way to put it. Was that a dare again?
Yeah.
Here for MP Materials, if you're looking for something relatively strong this morning. Apparently, the company is speaking here on CNBC, saying that their largest customer is the U.S. Department of Defense, otherwise known as Department of War. And apparently, they're actually going to be EBITDA positive this quarter and expect to be profitable next year and going forward. So again, MP Materials reminding everybody here on CNBC that the Department of Defense in the U.S. is their largest customer, investor, and business partner. And again, they're not really worried here about raising capital, apparently. So nice look for MPs. We send you back to Neil and Sean.
All right. Now we're $5 in the money on AMD, but we've lost more money on Google because we've tried it a bunch of times. It just broke there, 283, so we got out of that one. But it's AMD that's really hitting the skid right now. It just broke 230. So let's. I was just going to bid 230, and then it broke it, so I put an order lower than that. So now we're at 294.90s. See if we can get that. Sorry, 229.94. Right there, we just got it. So there it is. Nice take on that break to the downside right now. But I just want to take Tesla breaking through 400 now. So we're going to take that now, going long Tesla, trying to break through that 400. So it just tried it. We didn't take a bunch of shares here because, again, it's fighting the trend. We're just going to try to use that bottom. I mean, there's the break. Let's see if it runs this bottom one more time. 398.50. Which it's okay, so it's going to do that right now. So let's just see what it wants to do here. See if we can buy this last little run down. And now let's use 397.50 as our out. Okay. Again, don't want to be sitting here trying to trade through trend. And right now the trend is clearly hitting the skid one more time. But we just wanted to try the break there of 400 in case it went fine. Retest of the low of the day, potentially holding. If not, we're out. So again, not using big share size here at all, just to see there. It's gonna break in a second. I think it's worth shots now on smaller share size to try to potentially get real winners here. So you know, you're taking these small cuts to try to catch something. Yesterday we had Tesla at the end of the day. Here it goes. We had Tesla was a great trade at the end of the day. It looks like it's going to break lower right here again, and then we'll just have to wait. There it is. We'll just have to. Oh wow! I actually got out before it broke there. We're going to have to wait for a better opportunity now because obviously chasing is not working. We were $7 in the money on AMD, but it's losing everywhere else because we're trying to catch some of these longs. So. Try to be patient right here. We do have a super chat. Honest options data is not working.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry about that. I mean, I don't know what to
sucks.
tell you on that one. You know, we do hope that all this Cloudflare. We did hear that.
I thought maybe it's not related, but we thought that Cloudflare everything was pretty much working. Like everything that I usually use seems like
Derek
it's
came
okay
with
right
that
now.
story that it was
Like Perplexity's back up. Yeah, like pretty much everything I use. X is back up, like all that kind of stuff is looking a lot better. But what's not up, I'm just going to quickly show you IBIT. Still stair-step to the downside here. It hasn't broken the lows. Like we haven't broken the opening range bottoms yet on IBIT or challenged overnight lows. So it's still a bit of a pocket. And while that's happening, Mara, which I think has more room to fall, obviously, it's going to move more than Bitcoin. Can't seem to break through VWAP. Once it does, looking for the low of the day. I mean, Intel's Intel. That's doing what the rest of the chips are doing. But yeah, I mean, Tesla might not be the one. I was looking at actually Apple because Apple is the only thing. Well, it's not the only thing. It's one of the few names that is working its way down to like a pretty key bounce level, at least. Like Apple 266 has been a thing the last couple of weeks. And I said, wait till Apple gets to that price. So I'm just holding on to two shorts. I never picked up SMCI. I'm still waiting at VWAP to get short on SMCI to get a third. But it'll be Apple at 66 is the first shot for a reversion trade, at least for myself. It's all red candles on this 3-minute. So it's almost like the first green candle is going to be worth a shot here on AAPL. The market, once again, we're at 1 1/3, and I guess we're headed to 2% again until proven otherwise.
Oh, man.
When was the last time we broke 1 1/4 without getting to 2? I can't even.
I don't know. I mean, yesterday we had a little bit of a tipsy-turvy day, that's for sure. But yeah, I don't know. When this market gets going, you're 100% right. It really, really gets going. And, you know, we're going to try to find, I mean, I'm trying to find some bottoms here, but honestly, man, like this trade is the one that keeps working, but we just keep on getting out of it as it tries to bleed down a little bit here. Tesla, I think that can work. We've taken a couple shots here on Google without too much work being able to work out. We just got 50s there out at O's again. So like honestly, like another 50-cent hit right there on Google. They're light hits. We can make this back. But I just thought that maybe we saw a little bit of a wick candle there on the futures, but we did not. The TQs have really broke low now, man. $97. I mean, we were trading this thing huge. Now you're all the way back down in again. So I don't know, man. Chasing these falling knives, definitely not working here today. I mean, it's been a pretty blah day in the market without too much, you know, withstanding this move. You know, you get some financials moving. Healthcare technologies, Eli Lilly going to the upside. Tesla down 2.5. Amazon down 2.7. Meta, Google, Microsoft, Softy, Nvidia, Apple, Broadcom, AMD down 5%. We're set $8 in the money now. $8 in the money now. XOM, TMUS, Home Depot downside right there. So XOM, Randy, I just heard in the background, down 1/4 point right now to XOM, down 117.50, Randy. So you're okay on that one. But yeah, right now the market go boom to that downside. And we are into Tesla right now, but I'm also into AMD, which continues to bleed. Here goes Tesla. Let's take advantage of this a little bit if we can. I mean, you don't get too many bumps in this market. So if you do get one, maybe get a little bit out, Sean, right there. So nice little move to the upside there as we got 397, but no forward push here on Tesla, it doesn't look like.
There's no forward push right now, just about anything.
Yeah.
You're now like maybe like 50 cents from the actual low yesterday and say an Apple. There is a sign of strength, everybody, believe it or not. And it's a tech adjacent, it's a tech name. Netflix is up 1% and still holding some strength here. Definitely relatively strong is Netflix. It's actually trying to hold above prior day high. So that one's looking pretty good. But I do have to, you know what? I don't know, Mara doesn't feel like the one. I've got what looks like the top in Mara, but it's just not following through to the downside. And I look over at Bitcoin or IBIT, that's what I'm watching, and that's holding lower. So clearly you still have some strength over there in crypto. So it'll probably be Apple next for me. There's finally, you get a green candle on Apple. Oh my goodness.
Yes, go.
First green candle. Okay, technically there was a green candle at the open, but first green candle in this down move here in Apple. So I grabbed the long, give it to prior bar low like any mean reversion trade. Still try to stick to the rules, and we'll see if this one ends up holding. They haven't, like none of them have held since, but this is me a temporary bottom, at least back into the open range low, which is 268, which would be the look here. As the market's 1 1/4 down, but showing some signs of trying to catch a bid at least here.
Yeah, we're $3.50 in the money we were on Tesla right there because it was just at 4 bills. And we actually have a 400 out rate. Well, we have 399.75 as an out there as we try, as Neil was mentioning there, try to get this market to get back to the upside here again. So just seeing that Microsoft, I heard Sharif mentioning this, downside for Softy right now pretty aggressively, trying to find that bid. We saw Google get washed there today as well. So that's a downside play. And then AMD is still $8 now in the money and at the lows right here for advanced micro devices. So today's a good day to be short, that is for sure. And good little rinse out a little bit here of Tesla again to the downside. So this is what I'm saying, like take advantage when you're making moves like this and you have a win, like even just right now, whoa, I almost put out too many shares. Oh, did I get filled? Okay, good. I got filled there. I almost put out too many shares there. I almost went short. But here we go. We're going to have to wait to see because if this does break below 396.50, we want to get out of this one as no real relief rally in sight here, even for Tesla. I mean, that was 397. Like, look at that whoosh right there. Give us another long. But yeah, very, very violent pushes here in the overall market and in individual stocks. So it seems like there's layers to this game and they just keep on layering it down every time. It's like swipe, swipe, swipe. So here we go again for Tesla. Just swipes us out of that trade. What? I don't know. I don't think that trade broke.
These swipes are ridiculous, by the way.
They're pretty aggressive.
No, they're selling the living you-know-what out of every single up push here, guys. So like even when you catch a turn, this feels like, all right, I'm just going to tighten my stop. And I'm not going to reload this either. The second you get to even the prior candle, immediate sellers jump in. Like that's some programming stuff. Let's go over to Adara. I'm jumping out and just happy there was a small bounce over there in Apple. Adara, what do you have for us? Google is just...
Looks like I'm supposed to have some numbers for you guys. Factory orders month over 1.4% is the forecast here. NAHB housing market index looks like we might get that one as well. 36 was the forecast for this. And we get 38, so higher than expected NAHB housing market index compared to the forecast and the previous print. Then we got factory orders month over month exactly in line with those estimates of 1.4%. And core durable goods actually a little bit lower than expected, 0.3% versus 0.4% expected. So lower than expected core durable goods, higher than expected NAHB housing market index, and in line factory orders month over month. And the market is just continuing to push a little bit lower here. Now, it's also worth noting at 10 a.m., other than these numbers, we're also supposed to get Oracle's annual meeting of shareholders. I'm just logging into that right now, so I should hopefully be able to cover that and listen into it for all of you if there is anything of note to come of that meeting. So ORCL, if you are trading it, be aware that shareholder meeting's happening right now, and I'll give you guys live coverage. Also happening a lot lately has been earnings. We had HG reporting earnings this morning. Home Depot, they've actually recovered a little bit off their lows here. PDD, though, certainly is not, still near low of day. PDD and fellow Chinese ADRs, Baidu, BIDU, and Futu Holdings, FUTU, all reported earnings this morning. Another earnings name to watch today is KLAR. But how could we forget about the biggest earnings name of the weekend? Possibly of the cycle, Nvidia NVDA. They're reporting earnings after the bell, and they are at day's lows, despite getting a hefty $250 price target from Stifel this morning. Now, before we send you back to Sean and Neil, we are going to take a moment to thank our friends at Origenics, OGEN, because each year 3.8 million concussions are reported in the U.S., but there's still no FDA-approved treatment. NYSE-listed Origenics, OGEN, is changing that with its first-in-class intranasal drug, which is designed for rapid brain access. With the concussion treatment market projected to reach $8.9 billion by 2027, Origenics is uniquely positioned to lead the way. Learn more. Schedule a meeting today. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and let's go back to Sean and Neil.
Yeah, let's not get back here too quickly.
I can promise you one thing. The second you get out of a short, it's like so instantly the wrong decision. Like I was watching Intel here, and it looked like that's an old like trap. Like, oh, it's breaking trend. Look at these topping tail wicks. The selling is insane right now. In that you're trying to break back above, and it's like instantly getting swept back into the. Yeah. It's just they're sweeping the bid right here. That sucks. It's a really bad out realistically. I'm looking at SMCI because that hasn't broke down yet. So. Everything else is already breaking down, so I'm going to nibble in. The next time there's a topping tail candle, then I guess try to get swept up on the way up. And if they keep selling this thing off, then you're just kind of in, you give it to VWAP, and then they slam this thing to the downside, slam the markets to the downside. My goodness, Google is now through 280. It seems like forever ago that 285 came in and out. But we're $5 lower now. Down 2% is Alphabet. There's not much to see here until you get to 276, 78. That's what we're kind of talking about here. It's an absolute bleed fest. Overall, the market, just to show you the cues, like this breakdown is pretty well gone. Getting to 2% seemed like an inevitability. I think psychologically, at least you could look at 2% and say maybe that's a spot that we could bounce. The whole morning, I was complaining that Mara wasn't following through. And the second you cover anything, you're like, we probably shouldn't have covered anything. I put some back at 60 where the support was. The second it fills, boom, you're a point down. We're still bleeding here. Just got to look to try to pick something up on the next available pop. SMCI is what I'm hoping for here, but I'm also on the offer of Intel trying to get back into that one as we go to Adara.
Yeah, so to let you guys know, I am in the Oracle meeting, so I will be listening to this entire shareholder meeting, and I'll keep you guys posted if there's anything of note. They're just introducing everybody right now. But that's not why I'm here. I want to talk about Nvidia and Microsoft. So NVDA and MSFT on watch. Apparently, these companies are unveiling, alongside Anthropic, a major strategic partnership with multi-billion-dollar investments and a massive Azure compute commitment. So again, MSFT, NVDA, and Anthropic apparently unveiling a massive AI-related partnership. If I get more details, I'll keep you posted. And again, ORCL on watch here with that meeting. Back to you.
I mean, it's Microsoft news, but Microsoft keeps getting hit, so I don't really know exactly what to think about that. I mean, there's Microsoft right now, 493 right now coming back into play again. So in just trying to scalp out again, I mean, more outs here around 395 off of a 394 bid on Tesla. So I don't, trying to be patient with this. We're now $11 in the money on this name as it just continues to tank. Like AMD is an absolute banger there of a short. To wish that we had still either held on to all of this, obviously, or just put more on. But yeah, we're the real moron trying to capture Google all the way long here. Finally, looks like it might be finding something down at 280. So let's decide about this. But right now, I picked my poison with Tesla, and who knows where that's going. I'm still at I'm at 395.50 to see if we can get something out. So a little bit of $1 higher, and we should be okay here on Tesla. But it's a downside bleed right now for TSLA.
No question about it. But I mean, your heart's probably beating a little bit more the way this market's moving. And it usually does 100,000 times a day. And every beat is a data point. AAPL Innovations turns that data into potentially life-saving insights with Max Yield, an AI engine that filters noise, labels each heartbeat with lab-grade precision, and shrinks ECG analysis from days to minutes. Their mission is to revolutionize how heart disease is detected, monitored, and prevented. Learn more at AIML.health and follow at AIML_INNOVA on X. Shout out to them. They are AIML on the CSE. You can check them out also on the OTC markets. Well, okay, we're still headed a bit lower, but that 266, waited for the next available level in Apple. That's a 66, and it looks like it's putting in a bit of a topping tail. Bottoming tail. Obviously, there's no topping tail candles anywhere in this market. Bottoming tail off that 66. Well, I think we'd all be happy if we saw some get back to the highs and make some topping tails. But I don't think we're going to see that anytime soon. But that 66 did come in. That's just going back to a couple of days ago, the actual lows. And so trying our hand again in Apple, it's the only thing that was at a kind of a reasonable support level to take a shot at. We already took one shot, and it did not go. As a market, trying to bounce, but it did this before and did not follow through.
Yeah, this time we're being a little more disciplined, man, and we're getting out. We are now huge on Tesla today. Tesla's an absolute monster for me here as we just kept on fighting and fighting and fighting, and then boom, right now, a huge move back up to the upside after getting some 294s and now back up to 297, so $3 plus right here. Let's see if it can really get going on Tesla right now. I mean, nice battle back here. We have never crossed the 21 period yet, and so we're doing that right now at 398. I'm just going to get out 10% more, have to. Right now, it's now $4. It's a face slapper. Right back in, man. Wow, okay. We're making it, we're doing that money dance again. Like, again, though, it's too bad that we lost on Google, but here comes Tesla, now $5 in as it continues to go upside. Take a little bit more out here at 40 if we're able to. But right now, it looks like there's a big buyer somewhere here on Tesla as it just got a nice little bounce there, as so does the market. I almost went long Google, Google down here at 280, but we've lost too much money doing that. So we'll flip that on its head now and just go along on Tesla and see if that's the one that works out for us. But maybe found a bottom there to potentially on TSLA. We only have 35% left or so of this trade. A bunch of outs here northbound near 99, man. My best out rate there was actually 398.40, so not, okay, well, right there now. So here we go, nice upside play, making most of this back right now, and that was a good one. And we only have less than 2% left of this AMD trade, but it's trying to make a run one more time here as well. I'm gonna try to hold on to this one and just focus on what Tesla's doing. I have infinitely more shares on Tesla than I do on AMD. So here we go, let's see if we can get up to the upside here and just go. Now 450 in the money on this Tesla trade. Bitcoin kind of doing nothing. I mean, when we first looked at it, it was 91.5, right? Now it's 91.7. I'm assuming that it had a nice tank there as well. I'm gonna get some more out of Tesla. Yeah, no, actually, no. Not really that much of a move down for IBIT. So, okay, let's go find out something from Adara.
Yeah, I just want to keep you guys posted here that we do have a little bit more details here with the Nvidia and Microsoft news I mentioned earlier. So this is confirmed. Microsoft, Nvidia, and Anthropic announcing this new partnership. Anthropic apparently committing to purchase $30 billion worth of Azure compute capacity, and they're also going to be contracting additional compute capacity up to 1 gigawatt. That is the Nvidia chart. I'll show you MSFT. None of them moving too much here, just bouncing a little bit off lows. But again, big Anthropic, NVDA, and MSFT partnership on watch just a day ahead of NVIDIA's earnings. Back to you.
Yeah, just a day ahead of NVIDIA earnings, which are going to be obviously a big deal, no question about it. But right now, the market is trying to go. Ooh, look at that Bitcoin chart.
Yeah.
I just punched out tomorrow. I'm going to show you Bitcoin in a quick little second, but Apple ran into sellers at prior resistance. I'm like, whatever, if it's a scalp trade, it's a scalp trade. But I just saw this in IBIT. So that was about the easiest. Yeah, forget about where your stop is. And I'm actually not even going to reload. I just got out of Mara. Didn't even reload it. But that's a big time reversal on IBIT, on Bitcoin, I should say. Like you are back, not at 92, not at that 92 quarters, but you're almost at that 92. If we get back above 92, that was the area I was going to look for some long. So if this breaks out, I'm Bitcoin long above that. It just needed the opening range to clear. Well, we've had the opening range. We get back into here, and I'm going to look to be a buyer. So out of Mara and looking actually for longs for the first time in, I don't remember the last time we were long Bitcoin, to be honest with you. It's probably at least been a couple of weeks, but it's starting to look a little bit better now. Shout out to David. Thank you for the super chat in here. I'm just going to get on the right page so I can show everybody this. Adara wear pink every day. Not sure how to deal with this support getting crushed by an elephant. Okay. The shorts have definitely been crushing a lot of the bids. Like the way that, it's not so much that the market's selling off, it's the way that some of these levels are getting swiped. Mm-hmm. It's, yeah, it's a level of aggression. Like sometimes you see crazy things in the tape all the time, but there were a few moments today where I was looking at the stock, specifically that Tesla at 400. I saw it happen at, like, I think it was 281 in Alphabet, where the way it's breaking an even dollar level is actually surprising me in terms of how violent it is. Usually I expect there to be better liquidity when you get to those even dollar levels. So, I mean, for now, I guess the only thing I'm shorting pops on are Intel and SMCI. I guess I didn't get filled in Intel. SMCI swept up, held VWAP, and is now heading back in. We'll see if this market catches more of a bid. But for now, yeah, like I didn't get filled on, oh, you know what? Shoot. I wasn't offering Intel.
Oh. Well, you can't get filled then, I don't
No, you obviously can't get filled if you're not offering. I was like 99.9% sure I was offering into VWAP in front of 34. Until proven otherwise, going to short the pops in these two chip names and really hoping that IBIT can hold and give me that long, but it's not happening. So I wanted to get up in here, find some buyers in the quarters at 92s, and then work along, but it's right back in and starting to sell off again. So, yeah.
Here comes IBIT.
I can want there to be a long in a couple of things today, but it doesn't actually mean it's going to happen.
No, and AMD bouncing right off the 21 period as well. Wow, getting crushed on this one. Good sell for me at 256 for AMD, that is for sure, on that upside, as it appears to be anyways. So far, Netflix is going upside. Okay, we can have a quick look at that, says Joe. Thank you, Joe, for that content. 112, yeah, we liked 108 yesterday for Netflix. Netflix up 2% here. Yeah, giddy up on that one. Good look there, Joe. Netflix nicely trading there to the upside. Let's just check out what Nvidia is doing quickly, as we haven't really looked at it too much, but 180, can we hold there on Nvidia? It has held so far. News with Microsoft, Nvidia earnings tomorrow. Should be exciting there, as that bottom in 179.50, potentially in, I don't know if that's the bottom right now for Nvidia. So you're off about $1 from that low rate now. All right, what's up, Adara?
I just want to let you guys know here, IBM on watch. This one actually dropping pretty sharply lower. They did have a news announcement, not necessarily one that you'd attribute, interpret in this way, but keep an eye here. IBM announcing just as of 1 minute ago an updated version of their IBM Storage Scale System 6000 software. Apparently this upgrade is going to be available on December 9th. So software upgrade setting IBM lower. Keep an eye on this stock here. Some decent volume with this drop as well. Back to you.
Set this AMD out if we break, like, I think maybe this 227 again right here. My stop on this was 236.01s. So we had about a 50-cent stop to get, so 50-cent stop to get 1,000 cents. I mean, not too bad there, but we can't predict that that was going to actually happen like that. Let's go, I mean, those little wick highs, we could do that. We have such a small piece left. 228.40, so 228. Oopsies, not even on the right screen. Go. I don't even want to look at Tesla because it's going crazy to the upside. 228.51s. I don't even care about this trade. Get me out. All right, so it's Tesla trying to get this back to the upside again. Nice move right there. Bang. We just got out at 297.50. I was looking for a reload, but not until 294. So I'm going to wait now. 299.50. Is where I'm waiting for right now, just up here. See if we can break through 299 and just tick a little bit higher into this area, and we'll be getting out a little bit more of Tesla. I'm going to assume that Palantir, you're still short those two chip names, so those are good, but I just wanted to see what Palantir was doing. I wrote down 163 bottom. The bottom was 165 or so. So Palantir down 2.5% right now, not looking overly strong either. So, yeah, what is strong versus what is weak? We had Netflix. We have a little bit of talk there about crypto. That's 92,000 now. Are the weaker names still weak? Yeah, $21 for SMR. That's been not doing too much. And then Rigetti, I'm just choosing, oh, my chart just crashed. I have no idea what Rigetti's doing, but flat right now. And I'm going to try to find my missing chart.
Well, guess what, everybody? Tomorrow, we will be premiering a brand new exclusive video featuring interviews from us, your hosts. You know who we are.
Oh, that's who we are.
But you're going to get to see us talking about our life before trading. Get ready to know all of us at a different level, just on a whole nother level. This video is a must-watch to understand the full picture of us, the hosts of your favorite trading show, and a sneak peek into the major challenges. And believe me, there always were that we all faced early on. So, you know, sometimes you don't get to talk it candidly enough. I mean, we do, but not always about our past. So check that out. It is going to be dropping very, very soon. Hope you guys will enjoy it. And as I said before, hoping about things, well, finally broke that high. We'll see what happens on IBIT, this is the second time I've seen this happen, where breaking through a level, you're actually getting filled at the price that you're breaking out above, meaning the second it breaks a key price level, someone's so quickly selling it that you're getting the price, not the penny higher. Anyways, that's not the best sign in the world. Typically, it's like you breaking along here, you're getting that fill, not that fill. It's actually kind of a bearish look, but I'm giving it to this prior bar high. Not too much room here on Bitcoin. It gets insane. Like the second I get into that, it starts working against. The second you get into a short, you're back at the lows of the day on Intel. Like the shorts are right until proven otherwise.
Yeah.
Because overall, you know, like this is the level I like, but I'm kind of in it while it's still holding that resistance. At the moment, it was busting through, but they sold it almost immediately right back in there on Bitcoin. I'm not even gonna give this all the way to VWAP because that'll be a lower high and usually something that I would be shorting in that range. So market looking pretty weak. At the end of the day, I almost wonder, like I'm looking at Netflix right now. If we break the lows, you think Netflix doesn't play some catch up to the downside? Like it's just gonna randomly hold up all by itself? I'm saying no, but I'm going to look now. I have a trend that I can finally look at here for Netflix. So there's one bottom, there's two bottoms. Netflix breaks trend, and I'm going to look for a short in this. So just looking for maybe another short idea, and sometimes it can be that thing that hasn't flushed for an opportunity to play a little bit of catch up. Like I like Netflix too. Squid Games, the challenge being rather mid.
Yeah, we don't watch.
Still,
we watch.
But I'm still watching the damn thing because Netflix wins, right? So
Yeah,
it doesn't
yeah.
even have to be any good. No, but seriously, like if the market breaks some lows, I just don't see this holding up the entire day in an uptrend. Once it breaks that uptrend, I'm going to take a shot to the short side because it's all shorts that have worked. It's the longs that haven't worked for me, and it's the shorts that are all working.
Yeah, I mean, stick with what's working for sure. And it has been 100% the shorts printing out there. We did a little bit of a look here to see what was going on in the general market one more time. And I mean, we didn't spend too much time here, but just, where are some reliefs?
Oh, shoot.
Consumer staples, McDonald's still up 0.7 right now. Royal Caribbean 1.3. Disney, Disney, Comcast, CMG, Chipotle doing nicely. There's Comcast right there. Warner Brothers. As we know, there's some stories surrounding these names, right? So let's take a look over there when we get a second. Some of the energy names today. CVX down 2%. I mean, there's really nowhere to go, man. Valero, we had Michael Noss on yesterday. I think XO1 was 119 and change. It's 117 today. Valero, the refiner, looks like the only positive. Bright light and all of that. Let's see if Nvidia can bounce off 180. I mean, that's going to be a key name there for us as, if just as far as the electronic technology names, Qualcomm down another 3%, Intel another 3%. Micron's the one that's going to get absolutely destroyed in this cycle. Trust me on that one. Do not buy Micron. Honeywell down 2%, Dell down 2%, AMD down 6%, and oh boy, was that one a trade idea this morning early, so that was good. Texas Instruments might be okay, only down 0.5% right now for Texas Instruments. Tesla, the name that I'm in right here, down 3.5%. GM and Ford both. GM down, Ford up. I don't know what's going on with that one. A name that we haven't looked at in a while, Go Tesla Go, is Rivian, of course. So we can have a quick little look at RIVN. That one had its fun in the sun. It got up to $18 for some reason, and then all the way back in. Like I was saying, man, you want to get companies that are making money, that have solid products, that are selling a shit ton of them. That's not going to be Rivian right now. Solid product, fine, but not making money. So you got to watch out for this name coming back in as, of course, rates continue to be on everybody's mind, right? And just on that note, here's what the interest rate looked like. Yesterday, we were under 50%. Brendan talked a little bit about this off the open as well, but here's what it looks like right now. So this is to go, so now it's better now, actually. It's more in favor of a cut. So 52% right now in favor of a cut, 47%, yeah. So as long as it stays like this for December, as we approach December 10th, you're gonna keep seeing spiked volatility. Right, so as volatility continues to spike closer to this number, like it's 50-50. So, that's going to be a big decision point for them on the 10th. So we've only got now 3 weeks until then, plus big time earnings coming right now. We are almost got our fill. We did get it. No, we did not. Did we get our fill on Tesla? Did that cancel? What happened there? I thought I'm at 399.45. So that just went to 399. Like 45. I don't know how we didn't get that fill there. Okay, I'm going to cancel that and sit on another gateway, but maybe just take a piece out here at 399. There it is. 399.30, 399.50. We'll take it right there. Give me that 35. There it is. Yes, sir. So there's our out right now. $5.50 now in the money on Tesla. Making it all back right here, right now. Breaking through 400. There goes Tesla. Finally, Neil, I know you got some longs on there as well. So let's go back over and find out what Adair is up to. It's 10:21. Finally, Tesla's starting to go.
Yeah, just to let you guys know, too, an update with Oracle. Now they're taking shareholder questions. I believe they've taken 3 so far, and all of them have to do with how are you planning on making this piece of your guidance happen? So lots of questions here about their very lofty guidance, specifically with regards to cloud and AI. And I guess people wondering what reasoning they're using to justify some of this guidance. The stock is still moving higher, though. I want to talk about these small caps. Let's talk about AMER. Amer Sports, the ticker here is AS. This is a bit of a larger name. Could not find a ton of small caps today on watch, but I do want to talk about AS here with the double earnings beat and raising guidance. So nice look there for AS. Let's talk here about OLMA. Olema Pharmaceuticals, this one obviously has given up some of its moves from pre-market, but this one on watch, almost a 16% short float, roughly $600 million market cap, and apparently having these Rouge or I guess they're reacting positively to results from Roche's phase 3 results for this lidERA treatment. So OLMA reacting positively to results from Roche. And last but not least, your RYET. This is a penny stock trading around 95 cents. Royan IDI Technology yesterday morning announcing the commercial release of its Cogni AI. So this looks like a reaction potentially to yesterday's news. Before we send you back to Sean and Neil, we'll take a moment to take our friends at Trade the Pool, because for too long, trading meant risking your own money. We're never having enough to start. Fear of losing. That's what kept so many traders on the sidelines. But that's changing, because Trade the Pool is transforming how traders access the markets, because with its limited risk trading model, traders use funded capital while Trade the Pool absorbs the downside, which allows traders to focus on what truly matters: discipline, consistency, and growth. So when you hit that profit target, you keep 70% of the profits. That is no fear, no barriers, and just real opportunity. That's the revolution of limited risk trading, powered by Trade the Pool. Visit tradethepool.com or scan the QR code now to get 10% off your first evaluation. Back to Sean and Neil.
We'll try to recap everything that happened, because a lot happened very quickly. First things, both the chip names. VWAP broke, oddly enough, the same price on both these names, which is always jokes to me. And now I know why I wasn't offering on Intel the VWAP that one time, because the offer was the one I had on SMCI. But that's broken through 34, that's broken through 34. Both have busted through volume weighted average price. And oddly enough, okay, so maybe there are some longs that are gonna work. The first time in a while, I am long Bitcoin, so there was that breakaway. I think you got some room to rally here. Yesterday, the VWAP short, like 53.5. Look, if you're trading IBIT like I am, then fine, you're gonna care about those numbers. But if I pop this up, I was just looking at the VIX. I should go back to Bitcoin for everybody. I can put another chart up. But we've broken through the resistance, and to me, we're headed here. It's like 93. Like this 93 to maybe 93.1, that's the price area that I'm kind of shooting for. Like, I'm not really thinking too much more than that for Bitcoin, but that's the area I'm looking at. We get into 93, and that's where I'd look to be taking it all off and gonna buy dips if we pull back into that breakout high. So Bitcoin finally goes, thanks. Bitcoin finally goes, looking like we might have caught a little bit of a bottom here, but here's the one thing that I'm a little bit cautious about. Like, Bitcoin's going, breaking through highs. The Nasdaq itself, we're still underneath VWAP, underneath the overnight lows. So like the next press, like, yeah, we can close green here, but let's get some buyers above the volume weighted average price. Then we can really get going. And looking at some of those bigger cap tech names to do so. Like Apple, which was an L, it's already back at VWAP. Like, you can't, like, to me, there's no part of chasing this up here, because either you got the bottom or you got the trend break. Bitcoin was the one I liked for that long, so it's what I took. Now we're just gonna let this next 15-minute candle close and see where we can get here. I'm willing to bet BMNR probably went ham to the upside. Oh, same move. I was expecting maybe you would have got an outsized move on BMNR relative to Bitcoin. Or I guess maybe ETH isn't doing anything.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, have we even looked at what Ethereum?
No, ETH is actually strong. You see, now this is how you know you're in trouble in BMNR. ETHA, now the percentage doesn't matter. It's a 24-hour market. For these purposes, I think it does matter. BMNR is just barely a little bit weaker. Yeah, that's not what you want. You want a recovery in ETH. You want this to be like 5 or 6%. I think maybe there's that hedge that could be going on. I wonder if some hedgies are going to put on the whole, well, we can go long ETH and we can short this stock.
Yeah,
that's
been a good play. Yeah, maybe onto something there. All right, so we're almost closing out on that first hour, and what a wild hour it has been. We'll take out another piece here of 398.50 or so on Tesla as it breaks through the 50-period moving average. It gets all the way to VWAP, so that's where we have to cash them out there at 400, right? I mean, sure, we are waiting for a bigger bump here in that. The one thing that we've lost too much money on, as per usual, is Google again here today. But now we might have found that bottom in and around 280. So let's be patient. I'm bidding 280, but like whether or not we get that, probably not at this point. Well, maybe we do. Who knows? Like, to go down $2 is very, very possible. TQ's also trying to get back to VWAP. So just looking to think about where we're going to try to short or at least put on a reload of a short. I really want this Tesla trade to sort of settle out again. I want to give it another shot to see if we can get to 400. So I don't necessarily want to short the market. I can't be long Tesla and short the market. That's not going to work. So just trying to let Tesla settle out here. It's looking pretty weak today, man, but I still think we can get back. I mean, the market's only down 1.1. You know, we've seen it yesterday. It was this time, and then yesterday right at the close. Remember, we had Tesla right off this low, right here, 405, and it ripped up to 409, 410, and then ran out of time. Well, we have a lot of time right now, so maybe this name can start to battle and give us a little bit of wealth creation back to the upside one more time. Ozan, when moon? I mean, maybe we'll wear the cash cow hat tomorrow, but right now I don't know when moon here. It doesn't look like we're mooning anytime soon, but it does look like we're rebounding, so that's real nice. So I do have another offer here at $400. Hopefully that will come out. Like usual, we're at $399.70. So maybe we get maybe we get a fill there on Tesla. I just have to see what I just did. I put out the wrong order. All right, let's go back over. Are we going to Neil or we're going nowhere now? Adara, let's go see what Adara's doing.
I have a couple of quick updates. For one, keep an eye here on GeoOGL. I'll pull it up for you guys. Waymo, which of course is operated by Google, announcing fully autonomous driving in 5 new cities, including Miami, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, and Orlando. So 3 cities in Texas and then 2 in Florida. Now Waymo entering those cities. I also want to let you guys know the Oracle shareholder meeting just ended. Really nothing of note there said. Again, we had some questions about how tenable some of their AI and cloud projections are, but nothing super hard hitting. Back to you.
As always, thank you, Adara. Ask Charles Barkley about San Antonio. He loves some San Antonio. But
what is the Charles Barkley thing?
No, he has something about whatever. It's the truth. The women in San Antonio.
The women in San Antonio.
And he got in trouble for saying some things, and then they were like, "You need to make an apology on air." And then he basically doubled down, and said, "I ain't apologizing."
Okay.
Which, anyways, I love Chuck for some of it, for a lot of his stuff. But there is still a little bit of weakness coming in. Chuck. I'm looking back at open door. I'm just looking at the things that I like for shorts if the market doesn't get VWAP. The open door above VWAP, not necessarily in love with that above the volume weighted average price. I feel like Intel's still a dog in a general sense. Like this doesn't get back into the highs, but it's, we could get back into prior day lows and do a bit of a curl at that point. I was thinking about, remember that Netflix for breaking trend? What's weird is as the market's bouncing, this is still threatening to break the trend line. So whoops, I didn't draw that very well. I'm just gonna redraw that. Like Netflix actually being strong this morning, or for most of the morning, it would be strange sometimes to think that it could break trend as the market's bouncing, but the other way to look at it could also be it's just trying to play catch up. If we roll over from here, all right, here it comes. This is the kind of trade you can't give to the high of the day. The prior bar candle is like 112.25. So if this actually closes under the trend line, I try to short it here with a stop there, looking for VWAP, and then I guess more like the prior day close at 110. But yeah, Netflix trying to break trend. The market, a couple of green candles in a row on the 15-minute, but yet to get through the volume weighted average price. If we do that, then I think we could really blast. The fact that crypto was holding, I think bodes really well because it was like, it's been the worst. So if we can start to lead a little bit here.
Yeah, no, I like that look on crypto. I mean, if crypto can hold, that'll be nice for the market and for the Nasdaq in general. I know there's been like a decoupling a little bit from that, obviously, as crypto being down 35% from highs and Nasdaq down 4%. A little different of a scenario there. All right, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to wait out for this to happen on Tesla, but instead of it doing that, staring that way, we're staring this way. I don't know, man. This looks like stairs to the downside right now, and we got to be very, very careful with what we're doing. I'm going to try to put on a little small piece if it comes back into 395.50, and then just wait against that bottom. I think the risk to reward here on our good friend Tesla is well worth everything that we have right now. There's going to be other names that are going to obviously be set up very, very similarly to what we see right here, right now. But this to me is a pretty good setup. We've already seen it get to the high side right now. If the market wants to go, we'll be here for it. And of course, that is Tesla to the upside. So let's be patient, see if that wants to tick around a little bit there for us and give us those dips. Google obviously going to be coming in play as well. And then here we go with this trade on AMD. AMD, we got stopped out right here, right now, and that was our last 1% left. So nothing wrong with getting out of that position. I'm happy to do it, but now it comes back in, and we just should have reloaded it right there at VWAP. So that was a little bit of a mistake there for Advanced Micro Devices. I mean, we haven't checked out too many bigger sort of meme type names, bigger volume names. 34 million here for Open Door. Again, finds that bottom at $7. Like, I don't want to keep saying like how many times, but really like that's another long that we've seen. It's broken once, man. And when that happened, it wasn't great. It was down to $5. So I could see some liquidation. And by broken, I mean, we got to 675 a couple times. I just mean like a real solid break. So right there, we're trying to hold 7 again. Because if you're going to go long 7, I really think you're going to have your stop around 6. Like to get $1 on Open Door, I think is something that you're looking for, especially if you're doing swing trades. So I would say be careful with what you're doing here with Open Door, but it looks like the door is open again at $7, and we just bounced nicely off of that. I'm going to throw back to Neil in a minute. I just want to see what Beyond Meat is doing, because yesterday it was holding the dollar, and today it is again Beyond Meat. So we'll have to wait to see if this one wants to break back down.
It broke. It did break before.
Oh, it did break? What, yesterday? Or?
Yeah, and I missed it.
But it didn't break for too long.
Yeah, 90, but it was a free 10.
89, yeah.
No, look, I'm calling it a fail because it's just a fail on me, because like Beyond Meat was 2 days ago. It was on Friday. Like, look at it gap down, breaking the dollar. Look at that break at the open. It broke $1 and was like a free 10 cents first move, and then another 10 cents after that. And you probably are just long 101 on the opening rush. So it breaks the dollar down. I actually paid for locates on this. I now have a trailing stop on IBIT. Just, you know, when things are bearish like this overall, you're going to probably close losing the trend from the bottom here, which I did not get. Like maybe you could have that long. I don't know. It doesn't matter. If we lose 52, it's like 55 or so, then I'm out and waiting for the volume weighted average price. And then, okay, take me to the next trade. And it's a decent chance that it could end up being Netflix, which simultaneously also just closed, breaking a trend line. So this hasn't broken this support. If I was trying to short it, I'd probably be short here with a stop there, but I'm just going to put a trail that if it breaks that stop, I am out. We're going to go up to the desk with a Dara, but just as Netflix confirms that trend break, hesitate for a second on the short and everyone piles into it. Let's go up to the desk with a Dara. It's like every single time, it's like, well, this looks like short right now. You can just see everyone punching into it in that moment. Let's go to the desk.
Yeah, I just want to let you guys know here, we do have some comments coming from Fed's Bar, but it looks like his speech is about the, I guess, bank regulation, or more specifically, bank supervision, other than monetary policy. So Fed's Bar, no comment I've seen yet has been about monetary policy, but just be aware he is speaking. I want to talk about some of these nuclear plays. Here is SMR. You could also look at OKLO or NNE. I'm seeing here a diplomatic correspondent by the name of Elizabeth Hedgedorn just posted on X that Saudi Arabia, during its visit with the U.S. today, is expected to announce cooperation with the U.S. in nuclear energy. So we've heard some reports now with the Saudi Crown Prince and Prime Minister visiting the U.S. We're expecting some kind of AI investment. Now we also get the sense we might be expecting nuclear cooperation here between the U.S. and Saudi Arabia. Keep an eye on NNE, SMR, and OKLO. They're supposed to, I believe that the Crown Prince and U.S. President Donald Trump are set to meet around 11 a.m. I'll be covering that for you guys. Back to you.
Great. Yeah.
No, I was actually saying, Sean, if
Bitcoin, I mean, BMNR, you're saying was up 5%.
Like I was saying, if BMNR, and I wasn't crapping on BMNR, it wasn't my intention to do so. I was a little surprised it wasn't stronger than it was. But okay, first things first, I trailed out of IBIT. This is the candle. It's like the second it confirms that it's like, oh, we're breaking down a bit, everyone just starts hopping and selling. So what I'm saying is, if somehow Bitcoin goes to the lows, BMNR ends up red today, the level of nasty that is on it is just different. Because this looked for all the world like this was the recovery day. You broke trend, put in higher lows. So if we don't start bouncing at VWAP and continue this little higher low trend and don't catch a bid here, this is bad. It's bad. Because this is the major bounce level on Bitcoin. Like you could draw a trend line from October of 2023, and this is what you're trying to hold. Like this support level is gigantic on BTC. So if we don't sustain a bounce even for like a day or two here, bleh. That's all I got to say. Look, it's been one of those, it's weird. It's a weird kind of morning, obviously, because when you have what looked like one of those wipeout bottoms, the fact that we're coming right back into the lows is disappointing. But this is the yes. We're down 1 1/3, well, actually not 1.2. The Nasdaq's down 1.6, and on a 60-minute chart, it's still all red. I got to try to look for where I even want some reloads on the short without trying to chase anything. Thought Bitcoin could have had its day there, but nope. So back to probably fading Intel off of some of these highs, which is back to square one. Christopher Mulligan said Shopify is getting killed. Did we look at that yesterday?
I remember looking at Shopify. It
Close
was
to the 200 period, right?
I'm not sure it's that far,
Maybe.
but it's not good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's not good at all. Yeah, it's.
So you might be at the 200. You might be right.
Where's my 200 period?
Who knows? It's gone missing, man.
You just have to, this is the thing, I have to pull it back and have it, oh, I know why, because we don't have it from the move.
Oh, right.
So if I pull it up, I should have pulled it up in Toronto, that's my mistake. But if I do a daily chart on my e-signal very
Oh, it
quickly.
didn't split in Toronto, eh?
Oh, it's not close, 124, you're 10% away. I think the 200 period on this one might be cool. But you're still 10% away on Shopify, just wait this one out.
That's cool.
Like you'd see, you're losing 30% at that point off the highs. That's a much more reasonable place to try to pick this one up. I mean, the uptrend's very clearly broken here.
All right, guys, we did it again right now. So we'll say another chicken dinner winner. I mean, I don't know what's for lunch. We'll do that in a couple minutes. But there goes Tesla. I mean, look, we just did what we did. I sat here and said, I mean, shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for the kind words. Because, I was saying, I think that risk to reward wise, Tesla is it right now. Whoopsies. Tesla's. What the hell's going on? Tesla's it. So we just went in again and went out. So we're long at 395.50. We're long at 394.90. And now it's $2 in the money off of that play. So 1, 2, 3, 4 or so here for Tesla. Let's see how high we can fly. No lie. So nice move upside right now for Tesla. I mean, let's just give it a shot again to see if we can get back into this area. That's 399. So I'm going to put an offer now at 397.50. We'll get out of like maybe 10% if we can get that move. I don't know. This is very, very choppy. And then 398.50. We'll try another 10% there. Whoopsies, wrong price. I just put 395.50. So you punch out for another 10% right now. That's okay. That's still $1, but I didn't want to punch out there. Got to be careful with your keystrokes, of course, Sean. But we do want to remind everybody that 3D Capital. Well, I mean, that's a gorgeous video right there of Toronto, of course.
You get something like that.
But with just one stock, just one name, 3D Capital gets you exposure to nearly 60 plus early stage plays in AI, blockchain, biotech, and more. This is led by a CEO whose last deal returned 150x. 3D trades under IDK on the CSE and IDKFF over in the United States. If you subscribe to their YouTube channel, you can get exclusive interviews and deep dives and win, of course, win $1,000. This is your early stage ETF for that innovation. So go check them out right there. IDK or IDKFF on the US market. So Tesla just went again up here. I'm going to take another piece because I screwed up that last one. Take something out here in the 80s if we're lucky to get that. And then there it is. And then we'll wait for now 397.50. And then there she goes back there to the upside as Tesla has been everything for me today. And then, well, AMD was great. We'll be up more on Tesla just because we've refreshed it. We took more shares. But that was a really good one, obviously. And then the one that's crushed me today is Google. So this name, again, look at that, nice high, right back into the lows again. You want to test this out at 379.50. Market's also at lows right now. So I don't want to be layering into too many of these longs. We already have a beautiful 250 winner here on Tesla that we just got out another piece up there at 397.50. So looking for 399, 398.50, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, I guess looking for some different names. Let us know in the chat what you guys want to look at. Sarah?
There.
Hi guys, let's talk about this market because it is worth noting, although a lot of things are very markedly red, not everything is red. So let's actually start with what's relatively strong. Health technology, Merck had a bit of an announcement this morning with one of their treatments. This one's doing quite well today. Gilead also quite strong. Then you've got Medtronic. This is an earnings day one play up 5% today. Consumer non-durables, these tobacco names doing really well. So is PG, also Monster Energy. So health tech and consumer non-durables certainly having some strength. But let's talk about what is not strong, which is mostly tech-related plays. Producer manufacturing, GEV down sharply. We have AMAT, LRCX, and CAT all pretty red here. Then let's go on to tech services, because there is a lot of weakness as well, with the notable exceptions of Intuit announcing a OpenAI related deal, and Netflix day 2 of trading post-split. Everything else here is bright red. Electronic technology, Nvidia down 2% or nearly 3% ahead of its earnings, despite a stifle price target increase and a deal here with Microsoft and Anthropic. AMD also weak, Qualcomm weak. So it's really the chip names dragging down this sector. And then retail trade, Home Depot with day 1 earnings, and Amazon here weak as well. Long story short, if you're not tech, there might be some strength, but everything in tech here really quite weak today, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, but trying to turn. I feel like, I mean, at least attempting to make some kind of a turn. Like Bitcoin's back to the day highs, obviously, 24-hour market and all that stuff. But if this breaks out, I want to start looking for some trailers here. The first thought I had was if I don't get a dip in the VWAP here, which doesn't look like we're getting one right now, I was looking at Robinhood. Robinhood, just looking for like kind of like obvious setups, maybe not the best drawn, but you get the idea. Like it's at VWAP and it's got this little downtrend from the high that it could break out. So if Bitcoin continues to break, this could be like a little ancillary play there. I looked at SoFi as well. Similar, very, very similar setup. So both these, it gives me a couple of shots without having to try to take a breakout long in Bitcoin and buy the high of the day, that I can just play a trend break. Maybe looks a little bit better on Hood, to be honest with you. The reason I say it looks better on Robinhood is like Robinhood's above a lot of this chop mess, and it was bought up from this level yesterday. So, you know, if people were buying this thing at $114 at the close and the trend break is above that, I'd rather that than SoFi, which is going into some overhead resistance. So eyeballs on Bitcoin, either we maybe get a dip buy into VWAP, or, you know, the second I look for this to break the trend, what does it do? Continue the downward trend, because, yeah, thanks a lot, market. Jinx, again.
Jinx.
But literally every single time, like, yeah, we could break this upward trend. Bitcoin's about to break the high. Red candle. You know, you just got to be patient with it, I suppose. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen. You just got to wait for it. Got to wait for confirmation.
Yeah, nothing wrong with waiting. So I think we've been pretty patient here with Google. We're long right here at 280. I was on the wrong stock, so I got in and out there at the same price at 280. So now we're just long here at 280. I repunched the long back in again. You know, waiting to see about this 279 break. Like if it breaks it, it's at the low of the day. I still really like Google down here, and it's just a matter of trying to find, you know, the right spot. I'll average up a little bit there, get somewhere at 50. I don't have too many shares on board right now. But here's a nice little move back to the upside right here. I'll take out something if it gets to 281. And then the high's been, yeah, that has been that 281 right there off the 50 period. So maybe we could get that. And then 282.50 looks like that might be the best we can get eventually. So we'll put 281.90 right now for another piece, and just see if we potentially caught, I don't know, you know, catching bottoms and all that kind of stuff. That's been very, very tough to do on a day like today. We are lucky enough to catch that Tesla, but really nothing else right now. We caught the AMD top. Yeah, you just talked about Robinhood. That reminds me of SoFi a little bit. You know, another name that I really enjoy trading and want to buy more of this, and now it's down to $25. So SoFi, what Mitch called the next the Palantir or whatever, but that's not it's Palantiring. He's right about that. Down to the downside, man. That was $30, $31, $32 right now, taking a huge haircut back down to 25. So whether or not this market agrees with me or not, I like SoFi down here, and I think it might be worth picking something up. I'm going to look over those numbers just to make sure that that's the right play, because you're also getting cranked in many of these names here. I love JP Morgan, and it's been quite a violent downturn now. This is now 1, 2, 3, 5 days in a row of straight fire in the booth to the downside. It just keeps on going. Where will we stop on JP Morgan? I mean, it's just going back to like where we were. This candle right here is October the 27th. So as Justin Timberlake would say, cry me a river. I don't think we're that far down yet, but yeah, I mean, do we like JP Morgan better or SoFi right there? Maybe we could do that as Andre. You want to put that up there as a chat for the last 15 minutes? These levels, SoFi or JP Morgan?
Well, I don't know.
I only because one is such a traditional.
Right here, right now, in this market, JP Morgan.
I want to, if we can get that question somewhere, because one is like a traditional and then one is, you know, a very
but
much
just candidly, I don't even own JP Morgan outside of an ETF.
Yeah.
Like I own the XL, you know, I own the XLF, but that to me it counts, but it doesn't count. But I individually own a bunch of SoFi. So like I'm not even talking my own book. At these levels in this market, I'd feel way better in JP Morgan. Maybe even.
I mean, they chose the wrong time to go all in on crypto, right? I mean, we saw they're not all in on crypto, but they made that announcement. Like, if they
not the best time,
right? Like you know, they made these announcements, and all of a sudden, crypto went literally belly up. You know, so you're gonna have to give SoFi just a couple minutes, and I think a little bit of respect to get off the bench here. Put me in, coach, says Anthony Noto. See, I know some things other than sports, but okay, so that's what we're doing right here. Shout out to all the SoFi heads out there. We still didn't get that in yet. If I knew how to make polls, I would.
You know what? Shoot, I can do it. That's fine.
Yeah, let's just do JP Morgan. Just do like JPM, like which stock at current levels. JPM or SoFi. I just want to see what people are thinking. We could even include Robinhood. We can go 3-4 if you want. But Robinhood's more of it's just an app.
Well, if you come up with,
you know the problem with Robinhood.
Why not put Robinhood?
Well, okay, we can. I was just thinking about banks. Robinhood is
that's fine.
A completely different thing. Robinhood's getting hit right now. There's not that much equity trading, actually. I heard someone say this yesterday on Robinhood. So a lot of the trading on Robinhood is done through crypto, and a lot of this, you know, a lot of the traders that are on there are kind of like these YOLO guys, kids. I mean, younger than us, and that generation. So what's happening right now is a lot of that money is being evaporated. Like when Rigetti's going crazy, SMR, some of these like meme names, Beyond Meat, Open Door, BBAI, it goes on and on. I mean, we're getting ready for our best show coming up in just a couple minutes here. Well, they'll talk more about some of these meme names, but as those get going, Rivian, whatever, that really benefits a lot of the Robinhood community because they are very, very into those kind of names. This is according to Robinhood, not according to me. So that's part of the game. When this market picks back up, I know Robinhood will go, but right now Robinhood's only down 2%. SoFi's down 3.5%. So there you go. Robinhood may be going right here, right now. I'm going to say at these levels, I'm going to say
fail on the speed of my YouTube right now.
I'm saying SoFi at these levels. You said JP Morgan. Let's just wait to see what other people will say right here, right now.
You know what's funny? I didn't even really look at the JP Morgan chart.
We just had it up there.
But I just feel like one's safer.
Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you know, like not everything has to be chart based. You know, that's for sure. So. All right. Look, the last time we had this fine gentleman on, we were looking at Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, you know, above $10, $15, this and that, yada, yada, yada. Oh, yeah, he's not coming on because Dallas won yesterday. But without any further ado, it's our good friend from the great state of New York. It's Jeff Mendel representing the OTC markets. There he is, Jeff. How are you doing on this fine Tuesday today?
You know, it's great. I stayed up late watching trades come into Moon and also watching the Cowboys win. And you know what? By that broadcast, oh my God, they're back.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way that they were talking them up, they're back, baby. What a great win against a 2-7 team. Right?
What a great win against a high quality team of the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh my God, it's amazing. Dak is back.
Dak looks good. Their offense looks good.
Nothing wrong with
that. It's like the Bills.
Who do we have next? We have the Eagles, the Chiefs, and then the Lions.
So the Eagles, that's a guaranteed
win. Or something
win,
like that. It's going to be a great run.
It's going to be a fantastic run.
And that's, you know what, so let's talk about some good news because you're not going to have any good news the next few weeks for the Cowboys. Let's be real, but I can tell you what. You know what? It's crazy. I'm sorry. I have like this default crap on the Cowboys button that goes off in my head, and I just can't even stop myself from keeping it real about how bad you guys are. But the overnight markets right now, we're thinking about what the biggest event is going to be tomorrow, right? Nvidia, everyone's waiting for Nvidia earnings. Like how geared up, and certainly earnings in general are a big deal for Moon ATS there. Where do you see the volume going here? I know there's going to be a lot of opportunities, and we tend to laser focus on the biggest of names, but certainly I know volumes have to have been growing, and we're eventually going to go to 23.5. So how has the launch been going? Any updates you want to give us? I know people got to be looking for trades tomorrow there.
Yeah, I mean, look, Moon itself, right, it had a record volume evening last night, right, in terms of shares, and I think also notional value as well, too, right? It's led by some ETFs. Right, the most actively traded ETF last night was TQQQ, right, and then followed by Nvidia. Wow, geez, you guessed it, right? Meta, Tesla, SPY, the TSLL, which is what the Tesla 2 times, right? It's been a great past month right now for Moon, right? We've grown, we've taken kind of another step up, I think, in its progression of growth, and then it should continue throughout the rest of the year as well too. And so it's funny. It's like, yes, it's earnings play. It's also just macro as well too, right? I mean that in the top 10, TQQQ and SQQQ both in there in terms of trading activity.
Well, which is absolutely nuts. But so the next step, I think that everyone keeps talking about, like, when is this going to happen, the 23.5, and we go to those markets. How do you see, like, just for yourselves, like, how do you see that playing out? Is there anything that you might have in terms of insights as to where the direction and the timing of that might be? Because we keep getting so many questions about it. And I've even said that whole change in the PDT rule probably is going to get timed pretty well to take effect before we get 23.5. Where do you see that potentially happening, and where do you see those impacts for you guys at the OTC?
I mean, I think there's a lot of projects right now on the exchanges plate, right? I'm not going to put a date on when the SIP expands, right? Because, like, when we talk about 23.5, that is the SIP, right? Which is the it's the aggregate of all of the activity that goes on the exchanges, right? That's when that is open, right? Right now, Moon and Moon's competitors are bridging that gap from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. Eastern time right now. And I think with 3 different venues in there is there's redundancy, there is liquidity, right? The same people that are providing liquidity during that time frame are the same people that would be providing liquidity if the SIP were open at that time. And so, when it goes 23.5, I don't know when. Like I said, not going to put a date on it, but Moon will have already been established. Blue Ocean is established, right? Then it's like, there's going to be an hour there as well too. There are things in place where Moon could become a part of that as well too, right? Which, we're exploring on that front as well too, right? But I think the real question is more like, 24/7 to compete with crypto, because you guys even were talking about it before I got on, right? Robinhood, most of its business right now, right? I think you guys mentioned it, is coming from the crypto side of the house, right? Crypto is 24/7, so it's really just getting equities up to, and I'm not just talking about Moon right now. I'm just talking about the market in general. It's getting equities to that point.
Hey, Jeff. Let's talk a little bit more about some of the offerings in your OTC marketplace. I was just talking about Fannie Mae. You came to us a couple weeks ago, and this has been quite a nice roller coaster with great volume. I mean, some of these names just continue to be great trades, both technically here as we break down into the 200 period. And we're not looking for comments at all on individual stock, but Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac continue to be top of the book for you as well. And then the site that I want to remind everybody for, and I'm actually going to put this right now, Jeff, in our chat so people can get over here and go have a quick look. This is a page that I honestly look at a couple times a day, and that is just to see how many trades are going through and on what names. We see Luckin Coffee here, a big name there that's going to come through from China. We see Starbucks on the comeback as well. Tencent with Alibaba, SoftBank. I mean, everybody should be looking at SFTBY again as well as we talk about some of the differences that their investment, they sold all their shares in Nvidia and whatnot. But here's just another one that you guys have available. SoftBank down 6.5%. So take a look at that stock, right? You want to talk talk a little bit maybe about some of these ADRs? I mean, you guys continue to be the one-stop shop for this. If people want exposure into some European names, some Chinese names that you can't get on the NYSE or Nasdaq, I want them to go shopping with you guys over there at OTC Markets.
Yeah, so I mean, look, top of the list for ADRs, right? It's Tencent, SoftBank, BYDDY, Roche was on there as well too. I think I saw that there.
Yep.
You know, the funny thing is, you know, even though DI, DIY, DD, and Luckin Coffee, LKNCY, they actually aren't ADR programs. That is, you know, OTC Markets is where you can trade Luckin Coffee and DD. They don't have a local listing, right? And so actually more on Luckin Coffee. There's actually a Luckin Coffee. Luckin Coffee kiosk here in the city somewhere, which I have to go to at some point
yes,
here.
You do.
That was going to be my next question. We need you to review Luckin Coffee for us next time, Jeff, okay?
Perfect. I'll gold belly it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, because no, it's an interesting to note that if you want these shares, you got to come over to OTC Market, and this is what Luckin Coffee looks like. I mean, it's pretty choppy right now, but as you mentioned there, always doing a couple million shares a day, already at 1 million right here. And then here's your gateway, right there at level 1, representing shares, liquidity for traders, and a very competitive, at least for us here on the prop side, a very competitive make-or-take model as well. So I don't want people to be afraid of this marketplace. A lot of liquidity, a lot of opportunities here in a name like a Luckin Coffee, Fannie Mae, and the rest of them. And that's interesting, man. I really hope one of those comes through, you know, in Toronto these days. But Luckin Coffee may be on the rebound right there. So yeah, so you're excited about Moon, and that's great. And we look forward to talking more and more about that. You should see the screen behind us, Jeff. I know the last time you were here. Can we show a picture of it? I want. Look at it. Look how.
Look at that.
Yeah, it's a skyline right there. We're looking for a live camera shot of Toronto. But
that might be.
I know the last time you were here, this was a work in progress, but just want to tell you, it's going quite nice. And when can we expect to see you? You coming down for a little Christmas dinner or what?
Yeah, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. So looking forward to it. That'll probably be the next time when I'm on. Right, we'll be in person. Yep. Maybe we can squeeze one in between now and then. You know, talk a little bit more about Moon. But
I'd love to.
You know, looking forward to it. See you guys in December.
Great, thank you. That's Jeff Mendel. Thank you for all the fun again. And the good talk about sports and everything you guys offer at OTC Markets. He's a real one. It's Jeff Mendel. Go find OTC Markets. The link is in your chat. Thank you, Jeffrey. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Sometimes we do a good job with the interviews there, you know, but it's always good when we have a good friend, Jeff.
Always,
we've known him. I've known him forever and ever and ever. And it's nice to see, you know, the success from Moon, and I know they put a lot of work in that overnight market. So
it's a big deal, too.
Yeah, we always hear Joe likes to look at Blue Ocean, as does Obi. You know, the guys with no kids, of course. So they got to do something.
Well, let's be real. If Moon and Blue Ocean had existed when we were in our 20s, we would have traded it. When we had our own trading floor, 100% we would have traded it.
Yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, it's trading in some ways can be a young.
Joe just told me he's going to be having kids soon. So more.
Get it, Joe. Get it, Joe.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
He said he has a fur baby.
No, I'm setting him up. He didn't say that.
He didn't say that.
He did not say anything like that. I don't need to get this man in trouble. All right. So, yeah. No, what I meant by that is obviously, you know, we sit here and trade literally all day, and I've already made hundreds of trades. But that's another avenue, right? I mean, you never know. Like Jeff and you were talking about, you never know when the market's going to go bump in the night. You know, Trump is often, you know, talking, tweeting, truthing, all these things, 10 o'clock, lest we forget. So that was obviously a very important day. We never want to forget that, but that was hit by accident, of course. All right.
I have bad news about that camera shot.
What?
The two websites I was looking at are bunk.
Oh, they're not live?
The CN Tower live view is not a view from the CN Tower. Where is it? Can I show this now? It's like not what this is, can this one work? Oh, this one works. Here we go. Here. Can we do this? So this exists. There's 3 of them. One of them is looking at the CN Tower.
That's live, though.
This is live. There's 3 of them. I was looking at the wrong one. This is the right one. So we can actually, I'm going to send this to you if we can.
Look at that gold building. That's Royal Bank, the gold building right in the middle. There's Scotiabank.
I thought it rotated.
It's right there. That's
but I can't rotate it. I guess it doesn't rotate.
Oh, well. And then, whoopsies.
And then
all right. Look, guys, it's been an absolute blast. Thank you so much. There it is. You rotated it. There you go. That's the lake.
Yeah.
There's Joe's house right there somewhere.
See the Island Airport.
There's the Island Airport. That's where Joe's helicopter's parked right now. Over there. My house is like right where you are right now, over in the West End, down there. Shout out to West End.
We'll find a better one. But if we can get like if we can do something like that.
All right.
That'd be sick.
See ya. Oh, shit.
What's some, oh yeah.
Oh, man. I got to get to the gym quickly here, but we cannot do that without knowing what's for lunch. And we're